job, baby. We got this real, man. Awesome job, dude. Awesome job. Let's go, boys. Let's go. Oh, my God. We are the champions. Yes. Ring is sorry, boys. Yes.
Yep, we're back. All right.
We're back.
Live.
Woo! We're
back. Welcome, everybody.
Happy to be here.
I'm excited. I'm really excited. Already over 200 of you watching. Already got a super chat. Everybody is friggin' pumped right now. Got my new jacket. Got my new shirt. Got everything.
Yes, it's
Everything's
nice.
new. We're ready. So welcome everybody to the 4th season of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. I just 200 people watching already. Lick that like button. I am Jarrett Lundberg, aka the Iceberg. We got Darian Gilliam back, aka Black Flags Matter. Eric Estepp, aka Eric Estepp, and DannyBTalks, aka Daniel Baldwin. So I don't know what should we get into first. I want to start off with a fun story, but I don't know which fun story to go off with.
We have a lot of stories to go over.
We have a whole off season worth of story. I don't know if we'll get to everything from the last 2.5 months, but we're going to get to quite a bit of it. We were talking before the show. We have a very, very full show ahead for you guys. Really exciting.
At the very least, we'll get through most of it, I guess.
It's been such a dull off season. What are you guys talking about?
I know, absolutely nothing to talk about whatsoever. And then we proceed to go into the first of many stories tonight.
And the croissants are rolling in the chat already. I see them rolling. If you have left a super chat, we'll hit those at the top of each hour. Well, top of the first hour, as well as at the end of the show as well. So don't worry, we will read them. I have them up here ready to go. Just want to have specific segments for them. So as we have 300 tuning in right now, lick that like button. And,
Click the like button.
I'm just looking through here. We could, let's see. I mean, there's stuff about Kyle Larson. There's stuff about Bristol Dirt. There's, little sponsorship news left and right. New teams. I don't really know what to go over.
I'm trying to even think, like, chronologically speaking, what was the first big story of the off season? We should have thought this through.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Jimmy announcing his Rolex 24 run. I guess that was early on, but that's not really NASCAR. I don't know. So, but hope he does well. How did he qualified the car the other day, didn't he? I didn't see.
It was like a test session. It was like one of these practice sessions.
They did their really qualifying race too, I think, and I think Chase Elliott's team. I don't know if it was Chase driving the car or how it works exactly, but I believe they qualified on the pole for their for the overall race. So
for the class,
watch out for Chase.
In their particular class. Watch out for him. Also saw some clips of former F1 driver Kevin Magnussen making some laps too. He's going to IndyCar, I believe, this year, so it'll be fun to see him race.
Well, I say let's just do an overview of the Kyle Larson situation. So we all know what happened last year, but since then, through work of his own, he's made that more of a positive story, a comeback story, racing in the 5 car. Eric, how do you think Larson's going to be doing jumping into Hendrick Motorsports? Is he going to do as well as a lot of people are saying, or is he going to sort of flounder early?
I see a lot of people saying he's championship 4 favorite. And I do pump the brakes a little bit. He is basically taking over the 48 car. I know it's got a 5 on the side, but it's Cliff Daniels is the crew chief. The pit crew, I assume, is basically what was servicing Johnson's car at the end of last year. And that's a team that did not make the playoffs just a few months ago. So I would certainly keep my expectations somewhat realistic. I think playoffs certainly is the goal. I think at least 1 or 2 wins is certainly a realistic and attainable goal. But I think a round of 12 or round of 8 appearance would be considered a very solid season. Larson only made it to the round of 8, I think, once during all of his years with Chip Ganassi. This is arguably the best car I think he's ever driven in his Cup Series career. So I think expectations should be at least that, but I wouldn't get too excited too soon. I think it's still going to be a long road ahead, especially with limited practice and qualifying.
Yeah, I'd probably have to agree with Eric on that assessment. I mean, obviously Larson putting in the work of, on his own accords and stuff like that, really trying to, rehabilitate not only himself, but his image in the process as well. That's a good thing that he's going to get a second chance. And, his talent speaks for itself. I mean, obviously you ask, the dirt racing community, and he's the GOAT, apparently, according to some of it. Obviously the greatest dirt oval racer I've ever seen in my lifetime up to this point. But in terms of NASCAR, that's a different story. NASCAR, he had, all of those years with Chip Ganassi, weren't able to make the playoffs at first. And then later on in his career with them, he was able to make it. 2017, obviously that season sticks out the most in my mind for wins. Obviously, overall, a spectacular year, but, didn't really build on it in 2018 and 2019. Yeah, he had his moments, but, compared to 2017, that's clearly his best season. Then obviously 2020, the difficulties and all that stuff, and his, making his mistake and all that. The point is though, I think a lot of people are going to assume that Larson's going to be a championship favorite, but like Eric just said, this is the 48 team rebranded back into the 5 team. And then when people want to associate the 5 car with Hendrick, they automatically go back to Mark Martin's 2009 season. And they're expecting like Larson to have this breakout year, similar to Mark Martin. I'm like, well, let's slow our roll here too. I think he'll make the playoffs.
Might need to pump the brakes. Danny, what do you think, man? What do you think about it?
Thinking of Larson, it's not going to be any kind of like crazy run redemption story. I think he'll get a win, likely being at Dirt Bristol if I had to guess. But other than that, like these cars are so much different than what he's been driving for the last year. Only got 4 starts last year, obviously. And he picked up so well on his dirt stuff afterwards because I felt like in the entire offseason before 2020, he had been doing nothing but dirt racing that entire time. He basically got right back to what he was doing because he only had 4 races in NASCAR and got back to dirt racing the rest of the year. So, yes, I think it made him probably one of the best dirt racers of our generation, but I don't think he's going to be quite ready to come back to NASCAR and be a dominant threat or anything. I think he'll do okay. I really think he's going to win Dirt Bristol without even knowing anything. But here's another thing. He has no experience in this NASCAR with no practice in qualifying either. So how's he going to transition to doing that?
Yeah, that's a good point too. And I think, and I'm not going to rip too much on Larson tonight because I know a lot of people just want to, some people just will blindly say he's going to do great. Others are going to blindly rip on him. But I do think that people are going a little overboard on thinking that he's, this, championship favorite, that he's going to be right up there challenging Elliott. He very well may. Like, I still think when it comes to just pure raw talent, I think he stacks right up there with Chase Elliott, maybe above. But he, before, what happened, with the whole deal last year, he wasn't that good comparably to the old 750 package that was used in the intermediates. He wasn't that good with the 550 package. And I think people are forgetting that while he ran well, he wasn't up there competing for wins. He wasn't like how he did at Michigan with the higher horsepower. So I think he'll do well with the shorter tracks and the higher horsepower ones. And the ones that kind of rely a lot more, at least in theory, on driver skill. Maybe he'll do well in the road courses. You don't know, but I don't think I think if he hits the round of 12, that will be a successful season. Just have a successful comeback, respectable comeback, and improve as the year goes on. And I think that should be that should be where his goals are, because if you think about it, he's gonna have pretty stiff competition at his own shop. We got the defending champion in Chase Elliott, but then Bowman at the end of last year. Like, if you look at points scored throughout the last 10 races, take away all the playoff points, just look at full points scored through those 10 races, I think Bowman was second or third right behind Elliott. So, It's not like, he's just going to come in there and be the head guy like he was at Ganassi. But
As a matter of fact, I really think that this 5 team is really, when you think about it, in sort of a rebuild process at the moment. I mean, Jimmy Johnson just left. He was obviously the leader of that team for so many years. And now you're probably going to have a whole lot more of, new pieces, new pit crew members, that sort of thing, working within that 5 team. So I don't know, I'd say right now, obviously the 9 team's the best team at Hendrick, without a doubt. When it comes to the second and third best teams, that's kind of up for debate. I'd either say, obviously, I'd have to say the 88 and the 24 are without a doubt
40.
the second and third best team.
40,
right?
48 now.
Yeah, 48.
Oh, I'm sorry?
48.
Oh, 48. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
48. Yeah, see, long off season. See, so much has happened.
We'll
Jeez,
get
yeah,
there.
yeah. But yeah, no. But basically, that 5 team that Larson's in, I just don't think it's as good as some people are making it out to be. I still think that they're going to make the playoffs, though. I really think that all 400 cars, all 400 cars should make the playoffs this year without a doubt. Which one will be the last to make it in? If you have to ask me right now, I'll say Larson right now.
Really?
I don't know.
I'm going to say Byron. But
Yeah,
Byron. Byron losing Knausen. He only made it in last year, kind of thanks to that Daytona performance in the final race. So I'm still unsold on Byron, but I think you're right. Hendrick has a great shot at getting all 4 cars in the playoffs.
Yeah,
as much as I would like to say that Byron has to be the one to step it up this year, I don't think so, because it's pretty clear he's secure on funding. He's Exalta's guy. Liberty is there
University.
For the next couple of years at least.
It's got to be Larson who has to step it up. I think Elliott needs to have another dominant year to back up what last year was, and Bowman has to make this the year where he gets more than one win to continue to prove that he deserves his spot there.
Yeah, Bowman's definitely got to take that next step this year.
What track does he kill?
I know.
I'm just saying, I think the cards might play right for Nashville to win in the Ally car at the Ally race.
That'd be perfect. That'd be a perfect story.
And they have a secure 4-year contract. He ain't killing that one, guys.
Let's hope not.
I'm with you. I think Bowman's the number one driver at Hendrick on the hot seat because he's on a 1-year deal, and he may not kill Ally, but he wasn't enough for Nationwide to stick around. Let's put it that way, unfortunately. So I think there's a lot of pressure on Bowman to wrap things up with Larson. At the very least, he's coming into this year with a ton of momentum, winning his 2nd straight Chili Bowl Nationals title. We know how much that event means to him, and he was dominant. I mean, he led, I think, all 55 laps of the feature race that ended at like 2 a.m. or however late it was.
It always goes late.
Bell come close to giving run for his money, but Bell literally drove all he could to the point he flipped his car to try to get him.
The 2 to go. He went
crazy.
Soaring. That was crazy. Yeah.
I love looking at the chat, and I'm sorry about this, Eric, but the chat right now is praying that Bowman just wins everything at Texas this year.
Win the All-Star race, win
Texas.
the playoff race.
Why Texas? Oh, to kill Texas.
Come on, Eric. You know what it is.
Why Texas? No, wow.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you to everybody out there. Lick that like button to the 480 people. It's kind of funny, 480 for Bowman there. For the 480 that are watching right now, lick that like button. Let's get like about 250 likes as we head into the next topic here. And Danny, you mentioned it earlier, and I want to hear your thoughts on it first, since you're literally the closest to this. The Bristol dirt developments. I mean, where do you even start with Bristol being just covered in, from what I think is like 71 to 77% clay now?
So what I think is interesting, I went back and watched some of the old footage from when Bristol was covered in dirt long time ago. And I realized that on the straightaways, they put so much dirt down that on the wall where it says Bristol Motor Speedway, it literally covered up half of the text. So that's how much dirt that they're approximately going to be putting down there. And they're having to take off the safer barriers to do this. So this is going to be the first NASCAR race running an oval track without safer barriers in a long time.
I want to say like since like 2003, 2004 maybe.
Yeah.
It's just crazy because for the last 15 years or so, it's been, get every corner of every track covered in safer barriers. That's been the whole initiative, and now they're taking it away. I want to ask you, Danny, as the hometown guy, how do you feel? We talked about this a little bit last year, but it's a new year, a new season. You've had some time to think about it. How do you feel about them putting all that dirt on Bristol?
I think the closer we get to it, and the fact that I actually have my tickets to go to it, I'm happy. I can't wait to experience this. And I'm either watching the best race at Bristol ever or the biggest crap show at Bristol ever.
You can't lose.
I'm looking forward to whatever I'm going to see there. It's an experience that I'll never forget. I've seen basically everything there can be at Bristol: NASCAR races, football games, and now the NASCAR dirt race, which is going to be something entirely amazing. I'm really interested. They're running 250 laps, so I'm interested how slow are these lap times going to be, how many cautions is there obviously going to be, and is the winner going to even have an inch of his car that's not damaged?
That's a good question. You bring it up about the lap times, because a pole lap at Bristol Motor Speedway is like 15 seconds?
15 seconds, yeah.
So, with the dirt, obviously they're going to be a whole lot slower. They're going to be drifting a whole lot more in the corners. 25 maybe? 26?
I'm thinking a 23-second lap is going to be a fast time.
So
yeah,
what will it
around
be
there.
For Kyle Larson.
19 seconds.
He'll hit the pole speed.
Yeah.
21.0, right up against the wall.
Yeah,
So,
something like that.
Eric, I've noticed you've been like one of the most vocal people on YouTube actually against Bristol Dirt. Not even against, but just hesitant on it.
A little bit.
My thing is Bristol's my favorite track. Normal Bristol is my favorite track on the schedule. I understand why NASCAR and Fox wanted to put on this dirt race. I mean, it's something different. That spring race, as exciting as those races consistently have been. I mean, last year's race with that finish between Elliott, Logano, and Keselowski was fantastic. People aren't showing up to that race, pandemic or no pandemic. It's not selling tickets. It's not getting the buzz it once drew in. So I'm okay with them experimenting with it, but it's just it's unnatural. You know what I'm saying? Like we've already talked about, they're having to remove the safer barriers. This is the first time they put dirt on this track since they added the progressive banking. You know, there's just so many concerns. A lot of people this week are talking about, you know, the 250 laps plus the 150 the trucks are running the day before. Like that's a lot of laps for big, heavy cars to be turning around this space. Like just what are the track conditions really going to look like? Because this is not something that has really been attempted. And that's the only thing that has me concerned, because NASCAR is supposed to be the premier motorsport in America. And you don't want it to look like a joke if you can avoid it. You don't want this to look like an obvious, like desperate gimmick. You know, you want this to look like a real solid race with, you know, moves being made, purposely moves being made, and the best drivers running up front, and not constant spins and carnage and even safety issues with the track. So there's a lot of things I'm afraid could go wrong. I overall think it will be fine. I mean, when trucks went to Eldora 7-8 years ago for the first time, it went fine. There were no obvious issues. There've never been any real issues at Eldora, but Bristol's just a different animal. It's not a natural dirt track, so I'm worried things could go wrong. I still think it's going to be a race where we see something that we just never see. It's going to set like the record in the modern era for like fewest cars on the lead lap at the end, most cautions perhaps. I feel like we're going to see one of those types of records, and it may not be a great record that NASCAR is hoping to set this year, but I'm just a little hesitant. I'm cautiously optimistic. That's how
the biggest problem that I have is that no matter what happens, they're going to have to do this again next year because of the fact that we're still dealing with COVID, and we can't have a full capacity crowd for this to really test what kind of draw this is. It's sold out, but that's under COVID terms where it might be 30,000 tickets that they sold. So they're going to have to do this again at some point to test how popular really is this. Because the thing, I went back and watched a lot of my old vlogs this last few spring races before COVID, 2019 and 2018. The crowds at that race looked horrible. It was worse looking than the All-Star race with COVID policies in place. So that tells you something was wrong with the spring day as far as fans are concerned. They had to make some kind of a change, but we're in this crappy situation where we can't tell for sure what kind of a difference this truly makes.
You know, the one thing I'm concerned about, just one more thing to add, is that, you know, with Eldora, you know, at first, you know, NASCAR marketed it as, you know, this marquee event. Yes, it's the truck series, you know, one of the top 3 divisions. It's not Cup, but like, hey, we're racing on dirt, trucks, Eldora. This is awesome. But then over time, they just got lazy with it. They didn't really market it, you know, they didn't really market it well, and it was never on Fox. And I thought that was a huge missed opportunity for, you know, to have the Eldora races on that. And then sometimes, you know, I'm not going to lie, sometimes the races were pretty dull, not going to lie. Like I think either 2018 or 2019 had to be like one of the most boring Eldora races I've ever seen in trucks. So my main concern is not the overall product for the Bristol dirt race, but like, you know, if it is a success, then will NASCAR keep marketing this well? Will the track keep marketing this well as a marquee event, or will this just be a flash in the pan, sort of like Eldora was in the truck series? We'll find out.
So I want to bring this up. It's 250 laps, correct?
Yes.
So the record for cautions in a race, I think, was set in the 2005 Coke 600, and that was 22. And I remember that race because it was like 6 hours long.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, 7-year-old me watched the whole thing and was disappointed when Johnson beat Labonte. But for a 250 lap race at Bristol, to match 22 cautions would mean that we would have to have a caution on average every 11 and a half laps.
We can do it.
I don't know.
Crazier things have happened.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know if like the caution record will be broken,
It'd have to
but
be less
some
than that
record will
because
be
some of
broken.
those would be caution laps, don't
Yeah.
it? So it'd be more like every
Yeah.
7 or 8 laps, probably.
But you got to imagine there's going to be a lot of the crashes we see are going to be people backing it into the wall because they're going to overspin.
Yeah.
How's NASCAR going to officiate that? If like, I hate to say, I was about to say Timmy Hill. Let's not say Timmy Hill. I don't want to make the chat angry. If Quinn Half spins out from 35th place and doesn't
That's
hit
better.
it, just lazy spins out. Like, is NASCAR going to throw the caution for that?
Yeah,
Because we might see a lot of that. That's going to be a weird way to officiate.
They're gonna have to. The dirt tracks I've been to, especially where I grew up at Tazewell Speedway, is a very similar track. It's got 30 degrees of banking. A lot of guys do spin out at that track. So they're going to have to put a caution because the thing is, when you spin out, especially if you spin out in that high banking, where you're already on dirt, there's not a lot of grip as it is. You're going to have trouble getting back onto the track. So if you spin out, yes, caution's coming out for that.
And another question I have too is how, like, we have not heard anything really about how the cars are going to be set up for that race. I think you have to take the splitter off, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Or
You got to
at
take the
least
splitter off. Yeah.
It's going to dig into the
nose up.
dirt.
Yeah, or jack the nose up like insanely.
Like it was at Martinsville for a long time.
Right.
I say, in my opinion, I think for this one they should just put a valance on it. Just that if it slams into the ground, it'll bend up, but it won't absolutely destroy the car. Because I think if they put a splitter on it, you're gonna see like a divot in the dirt. Someone goes in at the wrong angle, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, their car just basically crumples, like somebody snapped it like that, like like Thanos snap on it. Like
I would say, what do they do at like the ARCA races where they ran on dirt, but then again they run ARCA on more of a flat dirt track. This is a very high bank dirt track.
And then I had this conversation with the guys from For the Lead podcast about this the other night. What happens, because it's at the end of March, what happens if it just rains all weekend? And it's just
Yeah, I was about to ask that.
Trust me,
Yeah.
living in Tennessee, it is possible.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it could rain like the day before and ruin the race. You know what I'm saying? Like I've tried to go to a dirt race. For the first time I tried to go to a dirt race, it like rained a little bit like the day before. I woke up the next morning expecting the race to happen. Weather was perfect. Nope, mud.
World of Outlaws, right? Wasn't it
World of
Outlaws?
Outlaws. I don't know how if the Cup cars, because they're completely different cars, if the conditions, if they're a little more lenient with the conditions, I have no idea. But I just know, like, I mean, we mentioned the Chili Bowl earlier. That was an indoor race that took 2 hours plus in between events to prepare the track. So they're particular about how these tracks are set up. That's all I can say.
I will say one last thing is that just because of like the loudness of his complaining about it, I would love if a Stuart Haas car won and Tony Stewart was the owner in victory lane.
Yeah. Like, here's your trophy. Like, yeah.
Do you think he'll go to the race, or do you think he'll just quietly not show up out of protest? Because owners don't go to every race. You don't
Yeah,
see
it wouldn't
Jack
surprise me
Roush every
if
race.
he doesn't show up. That wouldn't surprise me.
Actually, you might see Jack Roush. He goes to a lot of races. Penske doesn't go to every race.
Well, it's like Tony Stewart is like in the half of owners that is not in the at-risk category, so he can go to the race safely.
Yeah.
So like I think that is a fair question. But I think if he does anything, he'd just stay on the spotter stand. He'd probably like sit there in disgust looking down.
Like, oh, what is this? This Bristol dirt. Ugh.
So going to the next.
I do low-key wish I could see how he would do running in this race if he would just
Oh,
come back.
he'd
he'd
be
win.
amazing.
I
Yeah,
think
he'd be
he'd
amazing. Yeah,
Can
him
he
and
run the
Larson.
truck race? Can we get him in a truck?
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't own Bristol.
Yeah, amazing.
So for our next story, seeing how I think we've wrapped everything up on Bristol Dirt, I just want to lead into this. Everybody, I put out a few different questions over the offseason, like what can we do better on the show? What can we talk about more that we don't talk about enough? And like almost everybody at home had commented that we don't talk enough about the lower series. And while we are going to focus more on Cup in general, just because it's the bigger show, there is some news that has come, especially out of the Xfinity series. So
The best series.
I think you could argue for that, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of combine these two, but these are two signings from young drivers. Ty Gibbs is going to run the 54 Xfinity car in select races. And Ryan Vargas is going to run full-time for JD. So, Darian, we'll start off with you. How do you think these guys are going to do starting out, and what should we really expect, and what would be exceeding that?
Well, first off, how many races is it for Ty Gibbs? 4? Is it 6?
I don't think they've said, unless they said something today. As of yesterday it was just the Daytona road course for sure, and then maybe a few others later in the year.
I mean, because Ty Gibbs' like talent in the lower series speaks for itself. I mean, whenever he runs ARCA or K&N, I mean, he wins in everything he jumps in. Now, to an extent, he is in, obviously the best equipment in these series. So it's like, yeah, you have to perform, and he's doing just that. So obviously, some select runs in the either you said the Xfinity series, right? Like he's gonna be okay. So some select runs in the Xfinity series were to be expected. So I'm not expecting him to light the world on fire right away. Just let him get his feet wet in his first select season in the Xfinity series. Making some select runs. I think he'll do pretty well for his age. We'll see what happens. But Ryan Vargas, yes, that's dude. When I made that video 2 years ago, is Ryan Vargas the real deal? Like some of the comments were like, why are you talking about this guy? This guy just got kicked out of his K&N seat. He's going to be well, guess what? Now he's full-time in the Xfinity series. So, you never know what's going to happen.
Teammates with Landon Castle and Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Teammates with Landon Castle. I was just about to say, like, he probably has some of the best teammates he can learn from. Obviously, Jeffrey Earnhardt, that's a guy. I'm never going to make a bust video on Jeffrey Earnhardt. I don't want him to find me. That guy can fight. He's a freaking MMA fighter, bro. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing to do with that.
You're acting like he's a Terminator, dude.
But you do not see his left and right hooks. Oh my goodness!
Two guys in the Xfinity garage you don't want to fight: Jeffrey Earnhardt and Noah Gragson.
Yeah, for real. Oh my goodness! But then Landon Castle, that's another story. Landon Castle getting the full-time seat. So Vargas has a lot of drivers to learn from. As far as his expectations are concerned, I know obviously people are like, oh yeah, he's gonna make the playoffs, blah blah. Well, his first full-time season, let's just see how the first 9 to 12 races go, and then I think we can start getting into the talks of can you make the playoffs or not and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And also one last question: has TikTok signed full-time with or no?
As of now, they're not back.
Okay. Might change.
Danny, what do you think about these two signings?
I'm happy for it. There's a lot of more signings out there that's happening. Obviously, Ryan, I'm very happy and proud of him. He's been putting a lot of work in, and now it's clearly paying off. So I'm happy for him. And, something else that we haven't talked about yet. Happy to see that Ty Dillon is getting some opportunities, and a good opportunity at that, to also be driving at 54 along with Ty Gibbs.
I was gonna kind of go into that. Eric, what do you think about that, man?
Yeah, I think what Joe Gibbs is doing with the 54 is pretty cool. They're kind of treating it as their star car. They got, Kyle Busch will make his handful of starts. Hamlin and even Truex, I think, are going to make some starts. They announced today. Oh, it's pretty random, but I like Ty Gibbs a lot. And people always ask me who I think one of the most not underrated, but what drivers in like ARCA and K&N I'm like watching out for. And people write Ty Gibbs off, I feel like, because he's a Gibbs. I think he's got that ride just because of granddaddy's money. And I mean, sure, being the grandson of Joe Gibbs doesn't hurt at all. But he won 6 out of 16 ARCA races he raced in last year at like 17 years old. So he can obviously drive. I think watching him and Sam Mayer, who's going to run the second half of the Xfinity schedule next year, the races they're in together, and really maybe not so much next year because they'll both be part-time, but maybe 2022 or 2023. I think those two guys are going to be really fun to watch because they're about the same age, and I think they're both really talented. You guys already hit it on Vargas. We all love Ryan Vargas here. Dude works extremely hard to get these opportunities, so really, really happy for him. Ty Dillon, I think it's cool that he's going to be sticking around. We really weren't sure if his NASCAR career was over after Jermaine shut down. So we know he's running at least going to try to run the Daytona 500. And we'll see where it goes from there. And then we haven't talked about yet, but my boy Jordan Anderson as well, bringing his truck series operation into the NASCAR Xfinity series full time. Really happy for him. He's working with RCR, going to be getting some of their slightly older cars, but he's going to be getting their engines as well. So I know he has his sights set on some top 20 and top 15 runs this year. So the Xfinity series is getting a little bit, they've reloaded. Last year, I felt like while the Xfinity series was super duper fun, it was probably the least competitive of the three main series. I think this year they've stepped up their game quite a bit with Daniel Hemrick in the 18 and Jeb Burton at Colleague. Allmendinger's coming back. He's running full time, right, for Colleague? That's pretty wild as well. So the Xfinity series is going to be crazy.
Yeah, I forgot that he's running full time in Xfinity series now. You got him, Justin Haley. Do they have another car that's full time, or is there part time?
Jeb Burton.
Yeah, that's right. So they've got 3 full time cars now, plus Allmendinger. I think is going to be I think he's going to be running the Daytona road course for Kaulig in the Cup Series.
That's cool too.
Now, on what you were saying of Jordan Anderson, if I was listening to your Out of the Groove interview of him, and it sounded to me like you said he's got an RCR alliance in a way. Basically, he gets like a car from last year, but that is a serious step up actually from what I understood he had in the truck series, because it sounded like he was getting trucks from Turner. That team hasn't been around in years.
No.
Brad Keselowski Racing. That team hadn't been around in years. He was getting much older equipment that hadn't been up to speed in a long time. Where now I feel like it's a step in the right direction. Essentially, and this is something else we haven't talked about. Ryan Sieg, his team has went over to Ford. Essentially, that deal that Ryan Sieg had, and he was pretty competitive. It's kind of what Jordan Anderson has now, if I'm reading that all correctly.
Yeah, I think it'll be probably really similar. That's what Jordan was telling me as well. And I think it has a lot to do with the sponsor specifically. We talked about Vargas, how good he's been working with sponsors constantly. Jordan's the same way. He's the driver. He's the team owner. He's his own marketing manager, PR guy. He's talking to people all the time. And I know in that video I did, we had John Bomarito from the Bomarito Automotive Group. They sounds like are making a huge investment into Jordan. And that's a lot of why he's able to make this jump. And I think you're right. Like I said, I think he's hoping to run top 15 at times next year, hopefully finish top 15 of the points. And you never know. He came this close to winning at Daytona in trucks last year. You steal a win, you're in the playoffs. You know, we saw last year Brandon Brown, Sieg both made the playoffs in Xfinity. So there's always a couple spots for maybe a wild card driver like that. So I'm sure they're dreaming big.
Sieg was contending for wins a lot last year, actually, and he couldn't quite get it. So I'd be interested to see how Anderson can do running fairly similar equipment. But I will be interested how Sieg does in his new deal at Ford.
And this is also another trend too that we have to pay attention to. Drivers getting involved more and more on social media. Like, I mean, it's one thing to, just tweet out, hey, we, bad day at the track, or, good day at the racetrack, the usual generic driver tweets. But Ryan Vargas and Jordan Anderson have taken social media into their own hands, and they're getting opportunities like, it's not the main reason they're getting, the sponsorships and stuff, but certainly, all of the engagement that, they're getting on social media, that has to help a lot.
You have to show these companies that how to get their products seen. It's more than just slapping a decal on a car. There's so much more that goes into it. Like I watch Vargas all the time. He's great on Instagram, great on Twitter, great on Facebook, great on Instagram. He's great. Yeah,
TikTok,
especially.
Obviously. They sent him a skateboard. They sent him a skateboard, bro.
We're doing a job for him here.
And he's great on LinkedIn. I see that all the time too. He's doing a ton of work on LinkedIn. From his side of things, LinkedIn is definitely where he needs to keep pushing it. Yeah. Really, the biggest thing I don't see from him is the YouTube, but honestly, he's doing great and everything else.
We got that covered for him.
Yeah, we got that covered. Yeah. Who cares?
Well, and hey, depending on who his sponsor is, he might be, and when stuff opens up, obviously, he might be able to do Nugget reviews again. So
hey, Chick-fil-A sponsor him, or Zaxby's, one of these chicken companies. Raising Cane's. Yeah,
Tyson's got to get back in his DMs.
Yeah.
I'm really excited though for the Xfinity Series this year, just because like they've got the package right. The drivers I think are meeting basically how good the package is. It just overall I think this is going to be a really fun year. I wouldn't be surprised though, if more sponsors might jump on with Jordan, just because he's been working at the social media game like longer than it shows. I guess
this is like 2-3 years in the making. I think he's really put in a lot of work.
I remember him putting more stuff on Reddit and just and everywhere for the most part back in 2019. He's come on with you, Eric. He's come on with us on this show. And he's really built himself. It feels like, especially just from the online community, from YouTube, all that, kind of like a cult following almost.
I remember, dude. He's the most loved underdog. One of the most loved underdogs.
2019, I believe he said, or someone told me in 2019 he was the third highest merch seller in the truck series. I don't know.
That doesn't surprise me. That's perfect. No, he has 3 trucks, so that's perfect. But yeah, other drivers, they better start taking notes. If you want to get, some serious sponsors with you, I mean, Vargas, Tommy Joe Martins, and Jordan Anderson, those are the 3 that really come to mind that really incorporate social media into their sponsorship efforts. There you go, finally got it out. And And really, and the thing about it is too, like these sponsors, they're also staying long term. It's not just these little short deals. I mean, TikToks, they're gonna re-up with Vargas. It looks like, and we'll see if Jordan Anderson sees the same success.
What I love about the Xfinity series is we've been talking about this whole time, and we haven't even mentioned a lot of the top contenders yet, like Harrison Burton, Noah Gragson.
Oh, I know. We were just talking
Riley
about like
Herbst is moving to SHR, which is
that's gonna be a very interesting move.
We'll see about that.
We'll see what happens with
but
that.
yeah, Xfinity is stacked.
And there's still some possibilities we may see some more people show up. There's someone we don't know for sure what they're doing, but Miss Natalie Decker did tease that she has signed some kind of a contract. Now, I was looking very closely at what she put out. She's blurred the logos, but I saw what looked like black on the outside and red in the middle, which looked like the MBM logo. She could possibly be with Carl Long's team next year in the Xfinity Series, but we don't know for sure until she'll actually say that. She might be going out to do the European Series. We don't know what she's going to do.
This is what, one last thing, just talking about Xfinity and trucks is, some of the big stars might come down every now and then. You'll get Kyle Busch in for a few races or Chase Elliott. You got Dale Jr. once a year. Who knows? Maybe Jimmy Johnson will jump back up or back in. But for the most part, because you don't have so many just established stars, you can really talk about anybody in the field and they have an interesting story or they have something compelling about them from week to week. And I think that's the thing that really sets, in my opinion, Xfinity more than anything apart from the rest of NASCAR right now, is you have the racing with the stories meeting together. And I think it shows because I think at the end of last year, even when Cup ratings were very erratic, like Xfinity ratings were up in a lot of races. And I think that's just, it draws in a lot of hardcore racing fans in that regard. But if we don't have anything else to jump in on, I think we can cover maybe one or two more stories before we hit the lightning round. If anyone else has anything else to add on.
The Xfinity Series is the best series. Have the Xfinity Series run on Sundays.
Oh my God.
No, I'm just
doubleheader.
kidding. We love the Cup Series.
Hey,
we love the Cup Series.
Not if Riley Herbst is in the 98 car. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to say no.
I don't mean to slam, but that definitely hurts the legitimacy just a tad. I'm sorry.
Herbst,
I hope he proves me wrong. I hope he proves
he proves me wrong, but geez.
All I'm saying is he's a placeholder for the driver of the #1 monster truck.
We'll see.
Well, and really quick, before we go on to our next story, we have almost 580 people watching right now, but only 293 likes. Lick that like button. Let's get up to
the like button.
325, 350 likes. I think we can hit there. But yeah, we will have a lightning round in a bit later. So just letting you all know.
Nice.
But let's see. Going to another story here. Kind of, I won't say it's negative per se completely, but it is something that's going to throw a wrench into a lot of planning for race fans this year, especially with COVID going on. NBC Sports Network is shutting down. NASCAR will be going to USA Network due to the fact that it is in their contract that they cannot be put behind a paywall for the top 3 series. So, Danny, I want to hear from you what you think on this. What does the outlook of NASCAR on TV look like with NBC Sports Network soon to be gone?
Well, obviously, I also like professional wrestling, and Monday Night Raw has been on the USA Network for many years, and it's been honestly their best performing show as far as a weekly, audience goes. Even despite people and me myself saying that wrestling is not the good product it used to be, it's still pulling millions of viewers each week, and I actually have confidence that it will do fairly well because you can still access USA Network if you don't have a traditional cable partner. I don't know, are they getting rid of the NBC Sports app altogether? Because you might still be able to watch it through that. But I do know that you can watch USA Network through providers like Sling TV, YouTube TV. You could still access it for people like that too. So I think they'll still get their good audience as long as people don't act like they did in 2013. It's like, I don't have FS1. I can't watch it,
It's crying. Yeah, like, I don't have FS1. All this stuff.
I mean,
I think it'll do okay.
Yeah.
I think the races themselves, I think it's really going to be just Cup and Xfinity Series races are the only ones that were usually on NBCSN. Those moving to USA Network, for the reasons you're talking about, Danny, I think maybe not at first, because I think those first couple races, fans will tune into NBCSN and then realize, NBCSN doesn't exist, or there's no racing on it or something, and they'll be
What?
confused, and they won't know to look for USA. They just won't have heard the news. That just is how it is. But I think once fans start to figure it out, like you said, USA Network actually has, I think it was something like 87 million. They reach about 87 million households.
It's a lot of households.
NBCSN reaches like 79 million. So they have a slight edge there. That could be good for NASCAR, for the Cup races and the Xfinity Series race broadcast specifically. My concern is this is where NASCAR and other motorsports may lose shows like NASCAR America, or the Dale Jr. Download may not end up on TV anymore, maybe exclusively, on podcasts and YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Because, now USA Network's got it. They used to fill a lot of empty space on NBCSN that USA Network does not have. So that's what I'm afraid we might be losing. Now, some of those shows may go to Peacock. They didn't say you can't put NASCAR America behind a paywall. Maybe that's part of Peacock Premium, or it'll be free on Peacock. I think that's possible as well.
That's pretty interesting, because speaking of Peacock, the WWE also recently announced that part of their deal with USA is that the WWE Network is going away, and a lot of their top WWE Network content is actually going to Peacock starting in March. So this might actually play well into NBC essentially making Peacock this big streaming platform where you get lots of extra content from your favorite sports that are carried through NBC.
At the same time, though, and I did not quote this, but I will definitely requote this and say it. For a lot of racing fans, I know IndyCar is the one that suffers.
Oh, I was about to say something about that, but go ahead.
I mean, for a lot of race fans who don't want to spend anything extra, because I have to think that there's going to be some different stuff that you're going to have to pay for and be behind that paywall. It is kind of like the Peacock block there. Like, I mean,
waiting all night to use that one.
Yes, I have. I had to.
He was waiting for months to use that.
There, man.
Yeah, but speaking of IndyCar, though,
if you want your IndyCar, you better really want it, because you got to pay for it.
Yeah. I was just about to say, like poor David Land has been saying for years, like, hey, the way to grow the sport, make sure you get a good TV deal. And this whole NBCS thing, like this whole NBCSN news has like thrown IndyCar in a loop. They're in the final year of their contract, but I have this feeling, like really bad feeling in my gut that IndyCar is just gonna go for the money rather than the engagement, and subsequently have a lot of their on track activity behind a paywall. And they've already announced a deal with Peacock, unfortunately. And I don't know, it doesn't make any sense to me. IndyCar, I mean, you had the split back in the 90s, and it took forever to get back to this point. All right, like now the sport is it's in a great place competitively. These teams are the top teams. It's not in question anymore. But now that you're behind a paywall, it's like you're basically going to stunt your own growth. The growth you were building up for the past 2.5 years in this NBC deal. So if I'm IndyCar, I'd really look long and hard. I'd really think long and hard about, like a short-term TV deal, that obviously gets you on, in front of a bigger audience. Just nothing like nothing to do with any sort of paywall here. And NASCAR should really look, they should really do the same as well in those regards, in, trying to get shorter term TV deals rather than the long 10-year ones.
Well, that's somewhere you can add, Eric. I wanted to go with like, where do we go from here, I guess.
Well, I also wanted to just quickly touch on, I'm not entirely sure how IndyCar does it, but this for 2021, are the races going to be all on Peacock?
No. So practicing qualifying.
Okay, that's what I thought. So the races
qualifying.
At least are not going to be behind
thank
an extra
God.
paywall, at least not yet. And you're right though about their next contract. If they stay with NBC, that could be where
they better not.
That's all I wanted to add. I think what you're saying about long-term and short-term deals, I think there's pros and cons to both. The pro of NASCAR being on a very long TV contract is right now they're still in the middle of a combined like $8.5 billion deal with NBC and Fox, whereas if say they renegotiated this year, they wouldn't probably be getting that much money. So there is that added stability by signing a long-term deal, and they have those clauses in there, so the races are going to be on cable and broadcast TV through 2024. So I think there is a benefit to it, but you're right. Short-term deal adds some flexibility. I think IndyCar is probably happy that this is the last year of their NBC deal, because now they can weigh all their options. So I think it's a give and take there. I'm not sure if one's obviously better than the other.
It may do IndyCar good to consider going with CBS. Obviously, they're getting ready to launch motorsports with SRX coming in. It might make a great opportunity for them to go to CBS. CBS seems like they'd be more of a better suit for IndyCar, in my opinion, as compared to NASCAR.
Yeah, but whatever NASCAR and IndyCar does, and I'm looking right at the camera, do not go to ESPN. I know I wanted y'all back on ESPN. Do not go back. ESPN, no.
Well,
They
they're
don't
a
care
channel.
about us.
We don't need someone from ESPN saying that Chase Elliott won an IndyCar race or something.
Well,
Everything will be on ESPN Plus by day one.
Yeah.
well,
All the
and-
content.
Yeah, and then not going too far into it too. They aren't exactly focused solely on sports anymore. So I really don't feel like NASCAR being dragged into every damn conversation that Stephen A. Smith has with whatever schmuck he's across from. I really don't feel like having that. So yeah, but I mean, it really does look like long term. CBS is lining itself up, and I was reading a Reddit post the other night about the feeling going into the 2001 season with the new contract. And the big thing a lot of people said was, while it was sad that they left their old partners, it needed to happen. And like everyone knew that a change was needed to kind of rejuvenate the sport. And I feel like CBS can kind of be that. Like it was on the other side of that before, but I feel like it can be that in this new deal that we're going to be having in 2025. Whether that means it's replacing part of NBC's deal or if it's replacing Fox, I don't know. But it would be pretty good to have something fresh and new jump into it, I guess. What do you guys think? Like, do you think NASCAR, if you had to guess now from where we're standing, in January 27th, 2021, where would you think NASCAR would be leaning towards for their new broadcast?
Ooh, who wants to go first? Can I take this first?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, CBS looks like the clear favorite at the moment right now. I don't think Fox is going to renew. From what I've been reading, Fox is they're very intrigued with hockey at the moment, and they're really looking to try and strike a TV deal there. I really think that they're not going to re-up. So joining CBS, I would say, like maybe if NBC were to re-up its deal, then obviously you don't have NBC Sports, but you're still on NBC and the USA Network. So I think that's a win-win.
I don't want to interrupt too much.
Go ahead.
But Jake Baskinger in the chat brought up something really important here. CBS equals Viacom, meaning no more NASCAR YouTubers using clips. So that's something. That's something to add for the online community too. So it might not be a complete win. Like, because I know like Viacom with like stuff with like Avatar: The Last Airbender will be like, you used a picture, demonetized, taken off the internet.
Hey, NASCAR on the Hallmark Network, man. No way. No way, man.
Hey, Jarrett, back to our earlier subject. We must have inspired some of our fans asking Mr. Bob Pocker something.
What?
I see CJ NASCAR 6767 on Twitter. You might see him as like Iowa fan on Twitter a lot. He asked Bob Prockhurst 25 minutes ago, ironically, do you know if they are running the splitter for the Cup Bristol Dirt Race? Bob Prockhurst retweets him and confirms no splitter for Cup Bristol Dirt Race. Teams can run some extra bars of support on right side, screens allowed on various ducts, solid magnetic steel plate option in front of exhaust pipes, 18-inch by 6-inch debris deflector allowed on hood. Deck lid hinges can be reinforced. So these will be some crazy looking cars.
He just tweeted the whole encyclopedia of NASCAR.
Dude, I know.
Right
It was hard to keep up.
Bob Hawkers, my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's funny.
Well, you know what? To Iowa racing fan, Iowa fan through thick and thin on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for fact checking us. I love when the chat fact checks us, just because then it's like we're held accountable. Thank you. That's pretty cool.
No
Appreciate it.
splitter.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thankfully.
Team no splitter.
But yeah, no, I don't know about CBS now. Now that you bring up the Viacom stuff, I didn't know that. I'm like,
I don't
want it.
I just think it's still so far ahead of time. Think about where NASCAR was in 2017.
So maybe they'll change up their things.
I think everyone's right. I think I even saw a tweet from I can't remember now who it was. It was was it Pete Pistone? I think it was him. I can't remember now who it was specifically, but it was a well-known motorsports writer who even said that from what he'd heard, the industry is talking about CBS making a big play in the motorsports world, not specifically to NASCAR or IndyCar or anything like that, but by signing on with the SRX and trying
They've
that
already
out this
been
summer.
involved for years, though. That's the thing that people because I've had CBS Network at my parents' house for years, and like they would show Supercross, the Lucas Oil Dirt Racing, somebody just pulled off the Australian V8 series. They have a plethora of motorsports already on their CBS Sports Network, but CBS Sports Network, I don't know how many households it's in, but I'm assuming nowhere near.
Million. So
Okay,
about 2/3 of what NBC Sports Network is in,
right?
And just under 2/3 of what USA
yeah.
is in.
Right. So like
it's a
if you
downgrade
sign
no matter what.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a downgrade. So like my thing is to sort of, compromise with that downgrade. A lot of these races need to be on CBS to really, to get my attention, to say like, hey, this is this was a good deal that, they re-upped with them and all that stuff. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, definitely if CBS is a major player, like they're saying on Twitter, a lot of these races need to be on CBS. Please, they have to be.
I just think could change enough between now and 4 years from now that people don't want to, some people at least don't want to talk about streaming becoming the primary way to view NASCAR Cup races. But I wonder how fast things may change in the next 3 or 4 years. A streaming deal with an Amazon or something like that could become as lucrative or very close to as lucrative as your traditional big TV contract with, a CBS or a Fox or an NBC, which I don't know how realistic that is. I still think that that's maybe more than 4 years away, but I think it's still something to consider. And if it does happen, I don't think that would be necessarily the worst thing ever either. I think that's certainly something that should be at least explored. I'll bet NASCAR will, they're probably not negotiating anything yet, but in the next couple of years, they will explore Twitch, Amazon, et cetera, maybe YouTube. Oh my gosh. What if our channels become the official, platforms for NASCAR races like that? I'm just saying, get crazy. Wild things could happen.
I hate to come back to this Bristol dirt stuff, but it's really good stuff Bob's putting out right now. They're using the 750 horsepower package, but he says the spoiler is to be determined.
Oh, we're going to change up the spoiler.
We're going to get that giant-ass spoiler?
Yeah, we're going to get the giant.
Bring the wing back.
Bring the COT wing, yeah, for just this one race.
Bring the ears back to the spoilers.
Yeah, bring the
give them
ears.
Give them sprint car wings.
No spoilers. Screw it.
No spoilers.
Have you ever seen those crazy late models where they put like a giant thing of plexiglass?
Yeah, it's huge. I'm like, what is this? But
and real quick, I think unless we have anything else to add to the broadcasting, if anyone else has anything, let me know.
One more thing. NASCAR on CNN, NASCAR on BET, NASCAR on the Food Network, NASCAR just everywhere. All right. Take it what you can get. No, I was kidding.
We'll hit that really quick. So right now we have a concurrent viewership of 601 and only 367 likes. So click that like button. We got one.
Yeah, click the like button.
I think we can get one more story in before we hop on into the lightning round. So I'm gonna try and actually the first story that's not too. Actually, this can fit right into broadcasting. Bleacher Report has been reporting that based on what they've been told, the 2021 Olympic Games are more than likely to be canceled. What does this mean for NASCAR with their broadcasting, seeing how NBC covers all of the Olympics?
I would say they're not going to change the schedule just for that. Honestly, I think they'll just enjoy the break.
Yeah, I think they'll probably just
more iRacing, ready, folks.
Yeah, more iRacing. Yeah, more iRacing.
If anything happens, they might add some pro invitational races, which is coming back. We haven't talked about that yet.
Yeah,
we'll get that in the second half.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We could talk about it right now if we don't have much to add in.
This really won't take long to talk about. Honestly.
Yeah, why not?
So per Adam Stern, iRacing plans 10 events for the Pro Invitational Series with the professional drivers.
Sadly, what day is it, Jarrett?
Wednesday nights, because for some reason everyone wants this damn night.
We were ahead of the curve. Wednesday nights
God.
Popping, man.
Yeah,
it's ours. Get away. No,
it always has something to do with a video game too, whether it's heat.
I'm gonna be honest. I enjoyed a Pro Invitational Series and board and other kind of sim racing events. So Honestly, I'm gonna have it on my TV right in front of me, muted, just so I know who wins. So
Yeah, we'll keep up. We'll keep you up to date on the races.
So I'll go over where the races will be and everything. But I have to admit, like, iRacing for me has reached a point of oversaturation. Like, it's just gotten to the
there's
point
so
where
much content.
it's everywhere, and it's so hard to find like legitimately really good races. You got the Coca-Cola series, and that's really, really good. But I mean, like, the whole draw for the Pro Invitational was that it was something going on during the COVID lockdowns. Like, at this point, for all we know, by June, we could be opening up more, and there could be some places that return to relative, not complete, but relative normal compared to where we are now. Like, if I'm able to like go out and do something, if I'm not doing this show, which I will be, just want to let everyone know that now before the rumor mill starts up. I wouldn't want to really spend, a weeknight when I could be doing something in the summer watching iRacing. So, they got March 24th at Bristol Dirt. So, like, pretty much
they're starting with Bristol Dirt. Remember how horrible Bristol asphalt was?
Yeah, that's not gonna be good.
Terrible way to start. What are they thinking?
And honestly, that track doesn't exist in iRacing yet. So just like the North Wilkesboro thing, these guys might be the very first people who get to use it.
Yeah,
and then
won't get a whole lot of practice on
Talladega, April 21st, May 5th at Darlington, COTA, May 19th, to be decided or determined or whatever you want to fill into that mark, June 2nd, all on FS1. The first week is 8 to 9:30 Eastern Time. Yay! 7 to 8:30 Eastern Time for Talladega. Better.
Yeah, better, I guess.
Darlington, 8 to 9:30. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
COTA 7 to 8:30. All right.
Oh, you're getting there. You're getting warmer.
And then to be determined 8 to 9:30. Hey.
Oh my God. Why is it always our time slot?
Speedway.
It's always our time slot that gets messed with. Mess with someone else's time slot.
Yeah. Hey, at least it's like once a month usually.
Yeah, at least it's not. I mean, like, personally, I like it. I mean, like, I really loved it a lot when during when COVID first started. But now to what Jarrett said, yeah, I do feel to some extent it is oversaturated. But I don't know. It's like if it's on TV, if I'm not doing anything, yeah, I'd definitely watch some of it or all of it for sure. But obviously the show takes preference, so I'll be here.
If this gets more than 400,000 viewers, like average, I think they should be happy with that.
Yeah,
like getting like around 1 million before.
Yeah. Like, I mean, if it gets around 400, 500,000, like that's a W. Just take the win. Yeah, take the victory.
I think what you're getting at earlier, Jared, is accurate, and it's one of the things I feel a little bit personally, and I think other fans will feel even more strongly as the year goes on. But you're right. The main reason they're bringing the Pro Invitational back is to appease Fox and NBC not being able to show practice and qualifying as frequently. This gives them a new broadcast that they can sell ads for, so they're happy with it. But come June, July, August, September, and they're still doing these, and the country, hopefully, fingers crossed, looks very different than it does right now, hopefully in a good way. I just think fans are going to start to resent iRacing. They're going to be like, why are we still doing this? Like, hey, the playoff battle is heating up. We want to know who's going to be in the top 16. Why am I tuning in to watch William Byron and Ryan Preece battle on iRacing when there's really no reason why they shouldn't be practicing or
you could be practicing
cars. I think there are going to be fans that end up resenting it as time goes on. And you're right, they're not going to pull in the 1 million viewers per race that they were doing last year because sports are back. People are getting out of the house more than they were last spring. And it's a Wednesday night. I do like that this is kind of a way for them to continue testing what Wednesday night NASCAR audiences are interested in. But as I think last year showed, midweek races probably don't have a consistent spot on the schedule going forward.
It will be easier from a fan's perspective to watch maybe like 100 laps or so versus a full 400-mile race.
I think it's good that they're going to be like hour and a half long races. I think
those are perfect.
But I mean, I'm looking through right here. So let's say it just does every 2 weeks after June 2nd, because they're talking about 10 events. We got the first 5, first 4 good, and then 2 be determined. But that would leave June 16th, June 30th, July 14th, July 28th, August 11th. I mean, this is going into August at the point where, like you said, Eric, you're going into basically the last stretch before the playoffs. So everything is ramping up. I think you're completely right that people are going to start resenting iRacing. As much as somebody our age might like to do iRacing events or race on iRacing, it still is a very niche audience in NASCAR.
Yeah, it's pretty much just a teens to maybe late 30s, early 40s kind of audience. Your older audience isn't going to care about it that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it might have some returns with younger audiences, but I don't know if, to sacrifice qualifying and practice, which again isn't going to bring in, I don't think that'll ever bring in new audiences. I've never heard somebody go, I turned on Fox Sports 2 one day and
watch
watched
qualifying.
Indianapolis practice, and I was just like, man, I'm hooked.
No. They saw the 2019 Auto Club qualifying round, the final round. They saw that and they were like, "Yeah, I'm hooked forever."
Man,
nobody made a lap.
So it's not gonna hurt the new fans. It's just gonna hurt the current fans. It's just gonna piss off the current fans. That's not a cuss word. Not putting that in the swear jar.
We want practice and qualifying. At least it's obviously not going to be like what it used to be. With a bunch of practice sessions and then the qual. But not to have it at all. I don't get that.
Yeah, I think it's just it isn't. Yeah, I think that was a good point you made though, Jared, about how that is the one good thing about the iRacing stuff is has a better chance of attracting new fans or catching people's attention. I think if practice and qualifying were still going on, I'd be 100% on board with doing some iRacing during the year. But the fact that this is a replacement for practice and qualifying just will not sit right 4, 5, 6 months from now.
I get from the team owner perspective that this is actually probably good for them, that they're not running the risk of something happening and
saving money,
and they lose their car, especially these lower teams that would put all they had into practicing, qualifying it just to get into the show. So I don't know. I get it from one point, but next year when we have the new car, we can't do this. We have to be back to practicing, qualifying. And I think that's okay, because really at this point it's just save them as much money as they can on the resources for this car, so they don't have to put out tons of money just for this car that's going away.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that should be a pretty good place, to wrap up. I think we got everything covered there. But Darian, I don't know about you. I heard some background noise, but I think there's a storm brewing.
Oh my gosh, I haven't done this in months. Okay, I have it all planned out and stuff. Don't worry, it's not going to be super, super loud, but get ready. And once again, the lightning round on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast. Jared, what do you have on tap? Oh my goodness, it's been months since I've done that. Feels great.
He's been pent up on that lightning round energy.
Dude,
man.
I've been frothing at the mouth for this show to come back for 6, 7 months now. Now I finally get to do that. Go ahead, man. Do your thing.
All right, so here's what we got so far with the lightning round. Again, being the off season, there's plenty of stories. It's just a matter of looking at the ones that we can get to. But going into them here, according to Bob Pockrass, SMI is possibly going to have to repay $1.89 million due to DC Solar's bankruptcy to DC Solar. I'm sorry, This is the story that never ends.
Dude, they never leave.
And the sad thing is the relationship was mostly with Darian's track, Las Vegas, who never host any fans.
That's why I'm laughing.
They could never host any fans to pay this.
Dude, there's a ton of DC solar panels still out there, I think.
That's another thing about that I was going to get to here is that we still don't know if Las Vegas is going to have fans. Now, I find this to be complete hypocrisy, seeing how, the casinos were allowed to open at the peak of everything going on before we had all the knowledge of the Rona. But, you go off Sislak or whatever your name is. That's his name, right, Darian?
Yeah, that douchebag. I don't like him.
Hey.
Sorry. Yeah, I can't cuss. He's a dip.
That's not a cuss word, is it?
He's a dip. How about that?
Yeah, dip. There you go.
Moving on.
Concord Speedway. See, I'm not afraid to make politicians pissed off. Concord Speedway is officially torn down. Oh yeah, they do. Every one of them watching is from Congress, man. Everyone, and the ones on the excess are governors. No,
especially Corvette Racing. I know you're a governor. Somewhere.
Yeah, Corvette Racing. Yeah, we got your eye on you.
Concord Speedway, unfortunately, is officially torn down. So let's bring the mood back down.
R.I.P.
According to Bob Pockrass, NASCAR will use the low downforce, high horsepower package for the Clash, which will be at a road course this year. Yay!
Ooh. Hey, I'm at least a little intrigued with the new package.
I am very intrigued.
Yeah.
I am. I can't wait to see. I can't wait to be there in person, man. I think I'm leaving in like 12
The
days.
unrestricted engines, roaring down the Daytona front stretch. That'll be nice.
Kelly Blue Book extends through 2022 with Chase Elliott.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be with him right now?
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Mountain Dew apparently.
Mountain Dew. I was about to say Mountain
Caesars.
Dew. Yeah. Little Caesar. Yeah, Little Caesar. Damn, why'd they have to leave? I love Little
that
Caesar.
deal was always under the Mountain Dew thing anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That is true.
Austin Cindric will be racing in Select Cup races this year with the 33 car, which actually surprised me. I thought they'd stick with their 2, 12, 22, 32 was available.
But the
And
sponsor.
Verizon is showing up for at the very least the Daytona 500.
Yeah,
I know I'm
Verizon coming
ahead of you,
back.
Jarrett.
But NASCAR's dead. Remember, it died. No new sponsors, nothing new.
And
It's
they're specifically going after 5G right
Yes.
on the hood. Right on the hood. It's huge.
It's funny. It's funny.
I love it.
Kyle Larson's paint scheme is going to be released by email tomorrow to different people. So
How
Ooh.
archaic.
Email? What the?
Might as well send a carrier
Wait, hold on.
pigeon.
Wait. What is this? 2000 or like 90? By email. We'll send you the paint scheme by email.
maybe
What?
they're banking on the word of mouth of, oh my God, I got it. Yo, look at
You
Yeah.
have to sign up for their email list or whatever. The moment
Yeah.
it's released, everyone's just gonna post it on Twitter.
Yeah,
Hey guys,
yeah,
look what I got on my
that's
email.
But why
Good
they
try.
email? Just post it on Twitter. All right, whatever.
Hendrick Motorsports specifically emailed me.
Email me.
Domino's has spent an estimated, at the time at least, it might be more, $59.4 million, including $26 million on sports advertising, to air the Denny Hamlin PJs ad. So NASCAR fans, as we get into the third or fourth race of the year, just know you won't be the only people who are annoyed by that.
Yeah, everyone. The entire country is annoyed by the commercial.
I like it when
I love it, but I love it though. I love it.
I
I
like
love
it
it.
too. At the same time, I like that old KFC commercial where the old guy and the young guy were fighting. But after the 500th time in 2 weeks I heard it, I hated it.
Yeah, you see something enough and you're like, well, except you guys. I see you guys all the time.
Meanwhile, somewhere there's a FedEx associate who's saying, "Yeah, thanks for the free advertising there in your."
Oh
Domino's
yeah,
commercial."
yeah. FedEx is they're raking in all the advertising.
So here's one. Chris Cockrum will run the Xfinity race at Daytona. You see, I interned on Chris Cockrum's team for about 2 minutes in the inspection line last year, so it holds a special
I
place to me
remember
in my
that.
heart.
And I got you on video doing it to prove it.
Yeah,
Well,
I remember that too.
And to be serious, though, I always say support the little teams. Well, do it however you can. If it means helping them push through inspection, do it, man.
Yeah.
Unpaid.
Unpaid,
My man.
Yeah, straight from the heart. So Jeff Gordon's 1997 Chevy Monte Carlo Winston Cup car that he won the final North Wilkesboro race with has been sold on auction for $155,000.
Really quick, 96.
96? It said
There you go, yeah.
155,000 when I went on the damn site to look at it.
Oh no,
It
no,
won-
no! I'm saying,
The car's from
no,
96.
yeah,
No,
the
no,
car
no,
is
no,
from
no, no, no.
1996.
It won in 96, but it also was raced in 97.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I think
That-
it won 2 more races after that.
Okay.
Dang,
Wow.
Rick Hendrick was using a used car. Wow.
Yeah, Rick Hendrick.
A car salesman used a used car. How about that?
Blasphemy.
Nashville. The race at Nashville will be called the Ally 400. I'm pretty sure there's a few people here that are pretty cool with that.
Yeah.
They sent me a harmonica. Have I showed this on the stream yet?
No, you haven't.
I like how they send Eric all this Ally stuff and the Nashville. I like how they send Eric all this Ally and Nashville stuff. Meanwhile, I'm the guy who lives right down the road from him. I'm the guy
Yeah,
who roots for the
dang it,
Ally
get out
car.
there.
Where's my stuff?
I want the harmonica now, dude.
Play
I
a
want-
Beatles song or something. Can you play music on
I
it?
can kind of play maybe the Mario theme. No, that's not it.
No.
And for the first time ever, Eric was the one to break his mic before Darian did.
Yeah.
No, not 115, 155,000. A lot of people are thinking 115,000. No, 155,000. And 2 last things I think on here, unless I missed anything. I didn't miss anything because I don't miss. Daytona Fan Zone will be used for additional Daytona 500 seating this year. So I wonder how that's going to be all done.
My wife's cousin Crystal, she was one of the ones who was told that she couldn't attend the Daytona 500 from the tickets policy, so she was not going to miss it. She has purchased one of those infield like tables or whatever, but it was crazy. She had to pay however much it cost to have like basically she bought a table. She bought a table for 4 people and just for herself, so she could go to Daytona 500.
Wow, it's like buying a table at like a fancy auction, you know?
Well, they have like I don't know.
I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know how it's gonna work. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna utilize. They should utilize the UNOH fan zone, in my opinion, and put tables up on top of there because they could really space those out and get people room, but have a great view of the track too.
Would that be like over the garage or the garages too? Because if they, so that like me, Darian, Slap, and I think maybe Jake, I can't remember, but no, Darian, Slap, and I. That's where we were for the first laps of the Daytona 50 on Sunday.
Oh yeah, that's right. We were there.
It was a pretty good view. It was a pretty good view.
I don't know if they're going to allow fans like with the way that area set up around the garages. They have glass barriers and stuff. I don't know if fans with masks can actually go up and maybe see that. I mean, they're not affecting the teams in that case. But I don't know if they're going to be able to really do that with people who want to crowd up against the walls or anything.
They probably want. Yeah, they wouldn't want that, and probably as best as possible, they probably wouldn't want people spread out too much, just so they can keep control of where people are. Because there's that one fan who's gonna be like, I think I can make it in Kyle Busch's pit and like sabotage him or something. But last story on the lightning round before we end this baby off, my favorite Truck Series driver, Norm Benning, is offering to have people put their names on his truck for $50. His info on it is on Facebook. They're looking to go full time. So Norm got him right where he wants him, man.
Hey, we might have to look into that together.
Slap put in the chat only because Cody took off with my phone. That's right. I remember that now. But yeah, so that is the lightning round. I think we got everything hit on here. So that's the lightning round. And really quick before we end off, we're not doing it this week, obviously, just because it's the start of the season. But we had an idea for a little mailbag deal for one question a week. And we'll just pick from it. I have a second email I'm using on here. That we're all using on here. weeklypodcastguest@gmail.com. It's not for you to be a guest. I'm letting you know now that if you email me, I will not be putting you on the show. Neither will the rest of these 3.
It's just for questions.
But it's for questions. Put in a question, and we'll look for the most unique one that you guys put in. We'll try and get to somebody different each week as well. But just so somebody can have their little spot on there. So
we'll give them their moment.
Give them the email address again.
Yeah, all lowercase. weeklypodcastguest, all one word, all lowercase, @gmail.com. So
submit your questions.
So yeah.
Email. No, I'm kidding.
Email. No, email. Gmail.
So I think that's it. I think Darian, do your thing, and then we'll roll into the first batch of super chats.
Oh yeah, the outro. And once again, that was another edition of the Lightning Round. Do the lightning thing on the NASCAR Weekly Podcast.
Okay.
And now back to the show. Oh, Jared, you were late.
Lightning thing. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Graphics. I love graphics.
Yeah, I know, I can tell. Okay, so let's get into it. We'll do super chats after the lightning round each week, and then right before picks when we have picks. So just towards the end of the show tonight. For 99 Canadian cents, Adam Smith left nothing. So, but thank you for your money. It equates to a whole 78 cents. But no, in all reality, thank you for that. Adam Smith also left $6.99 Canadian, and let me see if I can do this right. Drink cactus juice. It'll quench you. Nothing's quenchier. It's the quenchiest.
What's
Sokka.
this from?
Cactus juice.
Avatar: The Last Airbender. Sokka. He gets high on cactus juice. If a kid shows to watch someone get high, I can say it.
Classic.
Okay. Will Graybill for $4.99 says, so do you think the reason Hendrick keeps prolonging Larson's scheme is because it may be a new sponsor, or is it just me being optimistic? I think for now it's probably being optimistic, but who knows? Maybe it will. I've heard rumors. Adam Smith with the Canadian 279 says, also remember that Coca-Cola is better than Pepsi.
Carnation.
Yes, I love that you put that. Just because I love stirring the pot.
Yeah.
GN with the $5 super chat says, so I heard the Dumpster Fire podcast, you're going to do a crossover with them next week. Should be interesting. Yes, it should.
Yes. On Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
It's
or this
Tuesday.
Yeah, 6 days. And just think that's also I think isn't that their last episode before the Super Bowl?
It is, because on Monday they're going to be doing this like media day event on their channel, and then Tuesday we'll be on. So we'll talk about 2 Super Bowls in one, the 500 and the
Super Bowl picks.
Yeah.
Tune in.
The NASCAR.
I don't even know who's in the Super Bowl, so
Yeah.
I'll figure that out.
You don't know who's in the
Chiefs
Tom
and the
Brady
Buccaneers.
Yeah, Chiefs and Bucks.
And the Chiefs.
I like
Tom Brady's all I knew.
I like Andrew Meyer in the chat. Nassing say 500. I caught that. I caught that reference. Jake Stew, I think your name's Stew. If I mispronounce your name, I apologize. Jake Stew for the $4.99 super chat. Here's to another great season of NWP. Yeah, here's to it.
Thank you.
Craig Kramer for $2. You're a Jets fan. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Are they in the Super Bowl?
The toilet bowl, yeah.
Well, they might be after all the number 1 draft picks they're going to get.
Yeah.
If they steal Deshaun Watson from
Can't
me,
even
all
tank
right.
right. Can't even tank right, guys. Oh my god.
Will this 500 be another demolition derby? I hope not. I hope it's a little better than last year's at the end, but I wouldn't be surprised.
After Neiman's crash, I'm good if no one flips.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Dustin Pixa for the $4.99 super chat says, what do you think about the haulers driving over the dirt to Bristol's infield? I didn't think about that.
That's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy.
Did they think about that?
They had to,
Like, they might slide. They might slide off the track.
They'll part the dirt in one part and give them one canyon to go through.
They're just gonna have to go straight on in, I guess, whenever they get there. So.
And then for people asking in the chat, Mark Martin isn't on tonight. He is having some scheduling conflicts, but he'll be on later in the season.
We'll do our very best.
We'll do our best to get him.
We know
back
he
on.
will as well.
And then I see here we got Blue Cup, not Blue Chip, Blue Cup for the $1.99 super chat says he says alien, but we'll say UFO. Yes, we have the UFO here. Give the UFO
I wondered where that was.
Give it the spin. I just don't want to put it in front of me. I got to slow it down now. Now I got to actually readjust my camera.
What is this sorcery?
So yes. If you say spin the UFO, I will spin it, and here I'll just put it right here so you know it's spinning.
No, it's still spinning.
Just going
100 miles per hour.
When I brought this down to Danny's when I visited him over Christmas or right after Christmas, and when we got home it was like December 28th or 9th, and I left it spinning until yesterday or a few days ago when I put it on my desk for the BS stream, and it had spun since then without me touching it. This thing will spin forever because
damn, it's good.
Magnets. But yes, so thank you, Blue Cup. Nick Arias for the $10 super chat says, hi, I'm Nicholas Arias in life, a lifelong 20-year-old NASCAR fan. I didn't get into IndyCar until 2011, F1 until 2016, IMSA until 2017. Yes, I'm a junior Byron fan. Well, I respect the junior fandom.
Yeah,
please say my last name, I beg you. I think I already did, man.
I'm laughing at how he said he's a lifelong 20-year-old NASCAR fan. So he's
And then he
20
said,
forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you for this.
Thank you for the super chat.
He's like that one movie. What's that movie? It had Harrison Ford and like Blake Lively, I think, was in it. But it's like She Never Ages.
Indiana Jones.
I think I just spoiled it. No,
I was gonna say Air Force One for some reason.
No, not that one.
Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Steve, and I said shoot, not another word. Steve Castaneda. I cussed in the first episode last year, so I'm trying as hard as I can not.
He said, I know, he keeps track of himself. He's trying his best.
I'm trying, man. I'm like, yeah. But anyway, it says, we'll be watching the replay of this, but happy you boys are back. Season 4 hype. Woo! Much love.
Woo!
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Levi Shones for the $1.99 super chat says, here's one for my favorite NASCAR podcast. Well, thank you. We're happy to hear that.
Appreciate it.
BMG12 for $5 says, I feel like at this point we are currently in the golden age of the Xfinity series as it gives off some more vibes to the late 2000s truck series. I won't say the golden era yet, but it definitely is a great era to be a part of.
It's
Races are fun to
better.
watch.
It's better than the bushwhacking era from like 2005 to 2006, when only like two Bush Series regulars won a race.
I
during that time span.
enjoyed 2009 to 2011. That was kind of a fun time.
Yeah,
It's a
that was
transition period, kind of like this one is. This one is a transition period.
Right.
Blue Cup again for the $1.99 says, get an Anderson hat and you have to get a signed card. Is that okay? Philip Richard, $5 super chat says, this place be awkward if Vargas and Anderson have on-track incidents. better yet, get
Twitter.
them both on
How's
after the
NASCAR
show
Twitter?
after.
How's NASCAR Twitter going to react to that? That would happen.
Daniel West for the $6 super chat says the USA Network deal is literally the same as NBC using TNT as their cable arm back in the Benny Wally Bestwick days. Everyone needs to chill out. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, I didn't look at it that way.
Refreshed on me. Xavier Castro, $4.99. Prediction time. How many cars finish on the lead lap at Dirt Bristol? And if you could have the perfect TV network for NASCAR, what would it be? Speed? I'll say 13 cars finish on the lead lap.
I'll say 10.
I'll say 9.
10.
I'll say 11.
I'm putting these down right now. So
Put them down for bonus
Stick
points.
them on the wall
for bonus points
Okay,
for
so
the prediction.
say them again while I write them down.
10. I said 10.
Blue Cup says in the chat, if you get a Jordan Anderson hat, you can get a signed card. Is he like giving out? Is he signing cards with orders? That's pretty cool.
I know Norm Benny was doing that. Eric and Danny, what you guys' predictions?
9.
And then Danny said 11.
11.
And I'm the outlier. All right. Irvin Alvarado, $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Says, hello. I hope this motorsports season from NASCAR, F1, IndyCar, etc., can be fun, safe, and have the return of fans. I would think Amazon Prime for motorsports in the future. Look at the NFL with their games on it. That is an option. It's something you look at. Platinum Paradise $4.99 super chat says, and NASCAR on TBS, it created a national fan base for the Braves in the 90s. Could do the same for NASCAR. Eli Gold announcing would be perfect.
Oh, yeah, that era. Yeah, he has an amazing voice.
Here, let's get through these last three here. 4 here. Andrew Meyer for the $5 super chat says the Pro Invitational Series should be an off-season series. Stream it on YouTube and invite current retired drivers. I like that one. Kyle Kiesman for the $14.99 super chat says, just got out of work and got a bonus, so I'm going to pay it forward because this is my only real NASCAR outlet. Well, thank you. Thank you,
bro.
Kyle. Communist Tomato Head. That's a name. For the $4.99 super chat, says, does advertising crashing help NASCAR, and which 4 non-charter drivers make it out of the duel? See, I don't want to make duel predictions yet until we got a full entry list the week before.
Yeah, we'll hold off.
Noah Gragson's making it in. I'm calling it now.
I think he will.
That's the only one I'll call right now.
Yeah, I'll call Gragson.
He's pretty good at the super speedways.
Oh, he's very good.
And then Blue Cup, thanks for the $1.99. Yeah, we don't really have any.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
No.
we're cool.
Yeah, we got no drama. So thank you everybody for super chats tonight, and let's head on over to the last couple stories of the night. So we have.
Well, actually, we got one more super chat if you want to hit it really quick.
Oh, we got one more.
Adam Smith, thank you for the last. It says last super chat, $6.99 Canadian. Thank you guys for being entertaining and not boring. Well,
thank you.
We strive to do that. Yes.
Yeah, we try not to be boring on the show.
Are you sure we're not that boring?
Yeah, are you sure? I
heard we all do the same things.
Yeah, we all do the same things. We're YouTubers are the same.
Yes, we literally are the same person. We're like,
hey, another super chat.
We'll get to that one.
All right.
We'll end the show with the rest of them.
Yes. Okay. So actually, going into this, we talked a little bit about like new teams and stuff. I want to touch on this, not too long though. But Pitbull invested in Trackhouse. What do you guys think of that? Because I mean, everyone's getting all nuts about it, and I see it's a good thing. But at the same time, like, he hasn't really been like. I wouldn't say recognizable, but he hasn't been relevant since 2009, really.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say he's been entirely irrelevant since then, but like
he's trying to make a comeback.
Yeah, to an extent, I guess. But just having him in the sport, that's amazing. I mean, we saw him in the promos last year, or the what should have been promos for NBC or for NASCAR on NBC. I don't know if they ever showed it. I don't think they ever did they?
Not in its full form. They used
Yeah,
some for the championship preview, but they didn't. I think because fans weren't allowed. I think they scrapped a lot of what they shot.
That's what
because a lot of what they shot was look at all the fans partying.
That's right. Yeah,
it's like, they scrapped it for that reason.
Like, no, that's it. But just having a name like his involved in the sport, that's really gonna do NASCAR a lot of good. I mean, we already see Michael Jordan coming in, and now Pitbull, they really want to get involved, on the ownership side. It's not, and it's not one of these deals where it's like Formula One and they'll just invite some random celebrity who doesn't care anything about racing and stuff, and they'll just like watch the first 5 laps and leave. But like, no, in NASCAR, like these celebrities, they're coming in and they really want to get involved in the sport in some sort of way, whether it's ownership or I mean, it's all money there. I mean, when you got money, now, buying a NASCAR team, that's a pretty wise investment. I'd say so myself. So, we'll see how Jordan's team does, and we'll see how Pitbull's team does. But, having one final thing, having Daniel Suarez driving for him, and then Justin Marks involved in the ownership deal, that's really going to do this team a lot of good. I really think this team has a lot more potential than what people are thinking initially. So we'll see what happens.
I think it really comes down to these celebrity team owners like Michael Jordan and Pitbull. As long as they understand their role with their teams, which I think they do, I think it'll work out great. Their job is not to handle the day-to-day, is not to talk to their drivers about how the car is handling and things like that. Their job is to, in many ways, be the face of the organization, to be the brand ambassador. I think that's how they actually labeled Pitbull's involvement. He's going to be a brand ambassador for Trackhouse and for perhaps its sponsors like iFly. Did you guys see that paint scheme reveal?
That's really a nice paint scheme. Really nice.
So I think as long as people like Pitbull understand that's really his role, and I think he does, I think it's great because, again, you mentioned it a little bit there, but like Pitbull and Suarez, they are uniquely able to speak to an audience that NASCAR has often not been able to reach. Same goes for Bubba Wallace and Michael Jordan. So I think there's no harm in it. They're not driving. I don't think they're going to be driving people away from the sport. I think if anything, they can only open NASCAR up to new audiences. And I hope that's the role they embrace, because that's where I think they'll really thrive.
Well, I mean, speaking of 2311, if we don't add too much more, there was another story in the past week or two that came from them. Bubba Wallace sets a goal of a multiple win season. I want to ask, and I want to start off with you, Eric, is that realistic, reasonable, or just kind of too far out there, in your opinion?
I think it's realistic. I think the goal should be 1 win. I don't mean to set the bar too low or anything like that, but I think the goal, at least coming into the year, should be 1 win and a berth in the playoffs. I think this is a Toyota team, and that means they're going to have fast engines, they're going to have fast race cars, they're going to have a equipment, but there's still limited practice and qualifying. You got a new driver, a new crew chief combination, and say what you will, Mike Wheeler is not the best crew chief in the Cup Series. I was actually doing research the other day. In 2018, he was Denny Hamlin's crew chief, and they won 0 races. Yeah. Since then, Hamlin has won 13 races with Chris Gabehart. He did win a few races in 2015, 2016, 2017 with
nothing too spectacular though.
Yeah, no. So I don't know how great Mike Wheeler is. He was Matt DiBenedetto's crew chief in 2019. They almost won Bristol that year. So I think that's pretty impressive. But it's a new driver crew chief combo. It's a whole new team starting from scratch. I don't really know who's handling all the day-to-day there. I think Denny Hamlin's heavily involved. They obviously have other people involved. I think it will be a work in progress. The goal should be to win a race and to make the playoffs. And I didn't even say it, but quite honestly, Bubba Wallace himself is a huge question mark. He's won in trucks back in 2014. I think he won 4 races,
and then he had the one-off race during the 2017 season.
2017, yeah. So he's done really well in trucks. He was in Xfinity, and then Roush shut down.
He contended for a few wins, but not as many as he maybe should have.
But his teammate went on to win the championship, I believe, one of the same
Chris
year
Buescher.
was there.
Chris Buescher, yeah.
I don't know how great we don't really know how great Bubba Wallace is. I think he's decent. I think he's capable of winning races. I don't think he's a championship contending driver just yet, but this is going to be a huge year of growth for him. So I think the goal should be 1 win and a playoff berth. Anything more than that would be exceptional.
I like that.
I will be interested to see how Eric Jones does this year, because I do believe that a lot of Bubba's problem was that car. I don't think it's a good opportunity for Eric, but we'll see.
I mean, I do love the fact that Bubba Wallace is, taking a public stance. He's saying, hey, we have to win a couple of races. I like that he's setting, very high expectations for himself. I think the main goal should be in year one with this equipment, the types of people you're getting involved in with this team. The playoffs should be the number one goal, whether you obtain it through through a win or just straight up on points. That's one thing. But I really think Bubba Wallace, he's well aware that, hey, I gotta perform, I gotta do my job. I think year one though, playoffs, like I think relative expectations for him would be, by the time the playoffs start, maybe a 12th, 13th seed makes it in on points. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair prediction in my opinion, but
That's realistic.
He just needs to be careful what kind of expectations he gives himself, because Daniel Suarez in his last year of Gibbs told the media, "I'm going to make the playoffs." He did not make the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
He
And
was no longer with Gibbs.
he's now been he's on his fourth team in 4 years.
Yeah, fourth team in 4 years. For Bubba Wallace, though, this situation might be a tad bit different. I mean, it's obviously way different. It's a new team and all that stuff. But I don't know. I think he'll make the playoffs. A couple of wins. Like Eric just spoke on. On his championship caliber. If he's a championship caliber driver, he's obviously not right now. And in terms of being a great driver, no, I don't think he's a great driver right now. I think he's a good driver, a good to serviceable driver in the Cup Series. People forget, he did help build RPM up to an extent. In 2018, Eric Almirola had just left, took the Smithfield money with him, and then they had to put together a ton of last-minute sponsorship deals. I remember the 2018 season. Bubba might have broken the record for most paint schemes in a season, I believe. Had 13, 14 different paint schemes or something like that. But but the point is, though, the expectations for Bubba Wallace entering the 2021 season is playoffs, whether it's obtained through a win or just points. We'll find out.
I would say that I think honestly he's setting it way too high for himself right now. I really think that he is. You look at this is a brand new team, fresh out the gate. I mean, granted they have some Gibbs equipment with them, but so did Levine Family Racing, and they had plenty of experience building up their team before that. So I think the goal should be just to be in playoff contention, try and make the playoffs. But trying to think that multiple wins in a season, in my opinion, I think that's too high. And I think that he can get a year of feeling it out with the new team, because it is a new team. They need to get to mesh together. I don't think that it should be expected that they set the world on fire. But if come next year, he's if he's running around 20th, 21st, or and this would be good for Eric Jones. I'm not saying it's a bad thing in general, but if Eric Jones is outrunning him in petty equipment, I think there needs to be a real conversation about, does he deserve that ride? So I think of anyone in the Cup Series right now who has more than a 1 year, has more than a 1 year deal, I think that he has the toughest deal looking forward in, because there are no excuses anymore. You can't just say, well, the equipment is bad. No, this is the same equipment that Denny Hamlin is in, that Kyle Busch and that just, it's great equipment in general.
Hey, Jarrett, turn your volume up. A lot of people are saying your volume's low.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all the way up on OBS, but I'll turn it up on here. Is it better?
But I was about to ask really quick. When he said the goal is to win multiple races, how many races was he talking? 2, 6, which one?
I hope not 6.
Yeah, just multiple.
3,
I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, if it's to if he's thinking he'll win multiple races in a season, let's say 7 or 6, 5 or 6, that would be crazy. Now, 2. Maybe at the most, but I don't know, just try and point your way into the playoffs year one. I think that's a relatively good goal to have.
I want to see is to the chat, is the volume better? Because it says I hear somebody breathing, but
see, you sound the same to me.
Y'all hear that? Y'all hear anybody breathing?
I heard somebody breathing.
Yeah.
Oh,
here's somebody.
I heard someone there.
Oh,
Because I can't hear it on my end, but I can hear somebody else.
I don't know how it could be me. It's the same distance it's been for me this entire time.
Yeah, I haven't moved it.
Maybe it was me. I didn't hear anything, and I can hear myself in my ears, like if I'm breathing. I can hear that. Well, hopefully it goes away. That's kind of
Yeah, because I can't hear my end for some reason, so that's been really weird. But if it sounds better, yeah, people are saying it sounds better, so I'll leave it around there.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I think that in general, I think that he is going to be under a ton of pressure this year, man.
Oh yeah, a lot. Well, we'll see if he can handle it.
All right, let's see. Another question I have, and whoever wants to take this one, go for it. Does Kyle Busch bounce back in 2021?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You never doubt Kyle Busch, no matter what.
How much? Is he going to be a 7-win driver again?
I'd say a fair.
I'd say he'll have a year like Keselowski had last year, maybe like about 3 or 4.
Yeah, I'd say about somewhere in the 3 to 5 win range, and then maybe he makes it all the way to the round of 8, and then doesn't make it to the round of 4. I don't know. That's what I think.
I think it's tough because he's lost, and maybe this is a good thing because they obviously struggled a bit last year. But with no Adam Stevens, the guy he's won his 2 championships with, who I forget, is it Ben Bayshore? Is that who it is? Who's
Ben Bayshore?
I forget. They moved a bunch of crew chiefs around. I can't remember now who's going to Kyle Busch. I haven't looked at it in a couple months. I think it's Ben Bayshore who's coming up from the Xfinity series, who they've had some success, or is it? Or no, my bad. Is it Rudy? No, it's not. Rudy Fugle left. He's going to Hendrick. Then shoot, I think it's Ben Bayshore. Chat can correct me if I'm wrong.
Someone.
I didn't fact check, but my point is he's getting a new crew chief who is not as experienced as Adam Stevens. Maybe a fresh voice in his ear is what he needed after kind of a down year last year. I think he will win more than one race. I think it's very rare that Kyle Busch only wins one race. I think it's safe saying he'll win a couple, but I don't know that he's. I don't think he's necessarily going to get further than the round of 8. I wouldn't peg him as an obvious championship 4 driver.
But we never know what can be for sure because up until 2018, Jimmy Johnson averaged 2 wins a year. So
yeah, it could just abruptly stop like that. So we'll see.
Really quick, I'm gonna mute myself and see if like the breathing they're talking about stops. Like I don't know if it's on my end or my mic is wigging out right now.
I don't hear it on my end. So
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything. I think they're pranking
anymore.
us. Or we'll find out later that they weren't pranking us, and
let's all mute our mics and see if
let's just all have a moment of silence.
Yeah,
mute
moment
one
of
at a
silence.
time. Mute one at a time, so the chat can tell us when it stops. So here, Darian's muted. Danny, you mute now. Okay, now I'll mute.
All right, I'll mute now.
All right, we're back. Who? When did it stop? Or did it? I think they're pranking us, guys.
Did it stop? Yeah. Are they pranking us? Yeah, I don't know where it's coming
now
from.
They'll let us. Now I like breathing is gone. I don't know who it would be. Honestly, I'll just stay away from it. Yeah, some people. Yeah, a lot of people don't hear breathing. So is it the UFO?
Yeah, it's probably the UFO or
something. Dude, it actually could be. What if there's magnets or
the UFO does make some noise from now and then. So yeah. Anyway, we still have a few more little stories here left. Brad Keselowski will be sponsored by Keystone Light. I want to preface this. Keystone Light sucks.
It's terrible.
I'm sorry.
I'm getting a bad aftertaste just talking about them.
They're really getting their money's worth.
But most importantly,
sponsorship.
the Blue Deuce is back.
Okay, the Blue Deuce is back, but at what cost?
You sold yourself off like this, Penske.
They could definitely for Throwback Weekend though do the 2012 Throwback with Keystone Light pouring out instead of Miller Lite.
They could, they should do that. They should still be fun with it. Yeah, just do that. But yeah, Keystone Light, it's not my thing.
Yeah, that would be something really fun to do. I just think that
it's so terrible.
I could have picked a better beer, dude. I could have.
When's Corona gonna come into NASCAR, man? Let's get Corona in here.
I think it's been there, done that.
I don't think we want it in here anymore.
We've had enough
bad advertising.
And then one last thing, and I think this can be like one big thing that we end a lot of the show on, because I think we can take some time on this for each person. Like each person on the panel's prediction, as well as who they talk about in these respects. So I want to do a few predictions. And then I'll also want to, after this, sort of debut we're going to have a bit of a point system for our picks format when we start picking races so that we can officially know who is actually better than everybody else.
Competition. Everything's a competition.
It is.
And are we gonna have any kind of like
the belt,
reward or punishment at the end?
I think we should get like a WWE plastic belt, harmonica. We should get a plastic belt for the winner, and for the loser, we should get a custom made like small plastic toilet trophy for
I want that.
First.
Yeah, I'd rather have
belt.
that.
I want the toilet.
But have the toilet be broken. So
better.
Yeah.
I think it's time to put the strap on Danny B. I'm going for the belt.
The what, Danny?
The strap with the strap.
You guys don't know wrestling terms. That's
a wrestling term. But
Learn something every day.
Oh man. Okay. Who do we think is going to be really good this year? Danny, start us off.
Oh gosh, who do I think is going to be good this year? Elliott, Hamlin, Harvick, and it's going to be a bunch of other people getting like 2 or 3 wins.
Well, I mean, like, kind of go into detail, like what people like for reasoning, because like there's a few that I know of that I think are do good. That I'm actually excited to talk about.
Well, Elliott's probably going to get at least 5 wins on road courses this year, I think.
Yeah.
I think we'll see improvements out of the 48. You'll see improvements out of the 12. Improvements out of the 18.
That's a good point about Blaney. We haven't mentioned him at all tonight, but Ryan Blaney's a guy who basically just wins one race a year every year, but it feels like he should have more than that. He should be winning 2 or 3.
I think we'll see improvements out of RCR, both Austin and Ty. I think Tyler Reddick, not Ty. Tyler Reddick can get a win this year, I think.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, look out for Christopher Bell this year. I know Eric Jones just got booted, and then some are thinking, well, this could be the same thing. I don't know. I think Christopher Bell will do an amazing job in that 20 car. We'll wait and see.
He's got a different crew. He has Adam Stevens, a 2-time Cup Series champion crew chief. So that could be.
And they've
magic.
Worked together before. Or wait, have they? Oh wait.
I don't know.
No, they haven't.
I don't know. Maybe in Xfinity, but I don't think so.
I was thinking of what's his name, Ratcliffe. Dan Ratcliffe or whatever his name.
Harry Potter?
Not the actor. No, not the actor. His last name is Ratcliffe.
Jason Ratcliffe.
Jason.
Harry Potter. Harry Potter crew chief this year.
Oh, wait a minute. Not Daniel.
He'll be a Swiss Army man.
Yeah. And also,
if anyone's seen that movie, that's a funny movie.
He'll be the Jack.
And also,
imagine Wizard Harry Potter as your crew chief. He'd be like, okay, you're in. Boom, you're good. Get out, go.
Done. Yeah. I guess one last guy I could say, a few more guys. Ryan Blaney, obviously, Eric just talked about him. Expect Kyle Busch to return to, I wouldn't say championship form, but, his regular, 2009 to 2012 self. And Eric Jones, I know Danny just said it, Eric Jones is in a tough situation right now, but here's the thing. I think Eric Jones can get 1 win this year. 1 win at one of the super speedway races. And he'll lock his way into the playoffs through that. And I think he'll probably shock a lot of people this season with his performances too. So we'll see.
I wholeheartedly agree with you about Eric Jones. I think Eric Jones does.
He's underrated, bro. Like, he's a lot better than people think.
Race. I think he's a better overall driver. I think this last year with Gibbs was frustrating because before this year, like he won the Southern 500 in 2019. Like I think he was winning a race a year with Gibbs. He's doing what Ryan Blaney's doing at Penske, and people love Ryan Blaney. But 2020 was a bit of a disappointing year. I think it's good that. I don't think it's good that he lost his Toyota ride, but I do think it's a good thing that Joe Gibbs blew up that team a little bit because I do not think Jones was the number one issue there. I am excited for him to be the sole focus of the team. I understand it's a team that has a quarter or less of the resources that Gibbs has, but Eric Jones has proven to at the very least be a great super speedway driver. He's also really good at short tracks. He's run great at Bristol in the past. The 43 team has run great at Bristol in recent years as well. So I think the super speedways, as well as some of the races like the maybe not the dirt Bristol, but the other Bristol or some of the other short tracks will be great chances for Eric Jones to show up. I like your pick for him to win a super speedway race, though. I think that's very likely.
I think he'll win one.
Blaney, I want Blaney to do well, and I agree with what we talked about earlier. Alex Bowman needs to have a fire lit under him. He needs multiple wins this year. That's a big story I'm trying to watch.
It's and before we get into the I think are going to be doing well. We have 540 watching right now, but only 461 likes. Let's see if we can get up to 500 likes before we're done with the show tonight. 500 for the 500. I gotta say, it's good that you talked about Bowman there, because he is actually the one who I think is the biggest driver under the radar for how well he did at the end of last year. And it's been shown in recent memory that when Hendrick drivers who have been good but not great have a really great ending to the year, they generally get really good at the start of the next year. Now, add on top of this, I think Chevrolet overall is going to be having a huge comeback. So something I don't see many people talking about is the fact that they were using sort of a new engine setup or new engine. I don't know if it's a new engine in general, but their engines have been upgraded like a ton. And it was used in full effect on Chase Elliott's car at Phoenix. And we saw that he was like head and shoulders above everybody. So I think Bowman is going to really do well with this. He was awesome at the end of last year.
The 88 was contending at the end of Kansas. Like everyone remembers that Harvick couldn't pass Logano. You might often overlook that Bowman was 6 tenths of a second behind him.
He's coming.
He was there. But I also think this is going to help RCR in total, because I think Austin Dillon is a lot better than people think, and I think that Tyler Reddick is going to excel a ton.
That deal that RCR has with Hendrick, they're working together. Is RPM also under that? Because they were with RCR.
It's really just the engine. So the thing was, Toyota, all their engines were made by TRD. All of Ford's engines were made by Yates. But Chevy had ECR and Hendrick both making engines, and some Chevy teams use Hendrick, some use ECR. Towards the end of last year, they combined their notes basically to build one universal engine that I think all the Chevy teams were using. Or at the very least, maybe they were still building separate engines, but they were just sharing notes, which they hadn't been doing in the past. I don't remember exactly, but either way, they had more information going into their engines. So I think all the Chevy teams really got a slight boost. Austin Dillon finished top 5 the first 2 races of the playoffs last year. I'm not sure if they were running these engines at that point, but that could have been a factor.
Just really really quick note to add. Like, these alliances, like, I have to admit, they're always like confusing to me, because you hear, oh, this team is aligning with this team, but you're never told the full details though. You know what I'm saying? So if we can clarify on that more, I guess that'd be great.
But just to finish out, I think Ross Chastain, I don't think he's going to be setting the world on fire. I think he should have the same goal that Bubba Wallace has, to
make the playoffs.
A playoff level driver and try and maybe sneak off one win if you can, but just set the foundation down for the future. And then Austin Cindric.
Oh yeah. Cindric's. I think Cindric will win a race this year.
Road course. One of the road courses. He will win one of the road courses. Mark my words.
And we have to start considering, what does Matt Benedetto do to prove in this last chance of 21 that he deserves a ride after this?
I would assume he's probably been in talks with certain Cup teams for some time now. You know, this announcement was made last August, that he wouldn't be back after the 2021 season. So he's had plenty of time to, get some stuff together.
A couple things that I have on the radar for Matt Benedetto, depending on what happens with Kurt Busch, if he decides to make this his last season, if Ryan Newman decides to make this his last season, those could be landing zones. It couldn't be possible that if 2311 Racing has a great first year, they might want to add a second car. So I think there's a few things that might open up for him. Just depends on if he's the right guy or not.
Eric,
we'll see.
You were going to say something?
I was going to mention Ross Chastain. I feel like a lot of people, that announcement was made so long ago. A lot of people have forgotten that Ross Chastain is going to be full-time in Cup and a pretty good car this year. But you said he might be in playoff contention. I think he should be hoping for top 20 in points. I don't know how great that car, Matt Kenseth did not make that car look very good last year. And even Chastain in his handful of starts with Roush, I thought Chastain did not look very good last year in decent Cup equipment. So I think that should be a slow climb for Chastain. I think it's important not to set those expectations too high, just because his teammate might be contending for wins.
Back to our Larson talks earlier, that might have shown a lot about what that car was versus the driver.
Yeah, the fact that Larson was running as well as Kurt Busch in the same equipment, a former Cup champion who's been racing, been in stock cars for decades at this point. I think that did say a lot about Larson that people are just now realizing.
And coming back the other way with it, Eric, who do you think is going to kind of disappoint or do poorly this year when maybe they shouldn't?
I'm still looking at Martin Truex Jr. Now, I'm doing a video here in the next few days. You guys will see it. I'll give you guys my bold predictions for the 2021 season. I did one last year, and it's in my bold predictions video last year, the only one I got right was that I thought Martin Truex Jr. would only win like 1 or 2 races. And he did. He only won 1 race last year. It was his first year without Cole Pearn since 2014, I think. Remember 2015, I believe it was 2015, was the first year Cole Pearn and Truex teamed up, and they immediately went from being a 20th place team to a championship 4 team back when they were still running Chevys at Furniture Row. So Truex only winning 1 race last year. He did make a deep playoff run. I don't know that I don't know that we'll see a huge improvement out of Truex this year. The days of Truex winning 6-7 races a year that we had for a couple of years there, they may be gone. And I think Truex is a good driver, but I do think Cole Pearn was a cheat code in a lot of ways that he no longer has. So that's one driver I'm not really expecting to see a huge jump. I'm not necessarily expecting them to be disappointing. I don't think he'll be worse than he was this last year, but I don't think he'll be back to his like true championship form ways just yet. And then besides that, I'm a little curious to see how. I don't necessarily think he's going to be bad, but another driver in a contract year is Brad Keselowski. And like, he's a consistent 3-4 wins every single year, year after year after year after year. Yeah, I feel like that's a really difficult, like threshold to maintain, but he's been doing it. But this being a contract year, I feel like he's going to be putting it all on the line. He wants a long-term deal. He doesn't want to settle for another short-term contract like he kind of was forced to this last season. So I wonder if that could lead to mistakes. That could lead to maybe, him pressing a little bit if the season doesn't get going super well. And I think he'll just have some extra distractions. He might not be with Penske after 2021. You never know. I do wonder about how Keselowski will run this year.
Another Ford guy, Chase Briscoe. I'm really excited to see what he'll do in that 14 Haas entry. Do I think he'll set the world on fire? Absolutely not. But do I think he'll be a disappointment? No. So he'll probably be somewhere in the middle, I think. But yeah, the expectations for him though obviously would be playoffs. With 16 drivers, you're in Haas equipment that runs that runs up front consistently. So playoffs, that's a good goal. But I don't know, like he's gonna come in with some pretty high expectations this year. I mean, he won 7, 8, 9 Xfinity races last year, something like that.
He won a lot.
9,
he won a lot.
It was 9 because I think it was equal to what Harvick did in the Cup Series.
Exactly. So he won a lot of races. So I think some of the fan base is probably gonna think he's gonna come in here and do the same. And I don't know. Obviously not. I mean, the days of rookies coming in and just automatically winning week by week in the Cup Series, those days are gone. Wasn't Cole Custer the first rookie to win since Montoya, in
Chris Buescher technically won, but that was sort of a
the first true rookie to win.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Wow,
Montoya, you might be right about that actually.
So you never know. Maybe Chase Briscoe might set the world on fire. Maybe.
No, Trevor Bain.
But he was part-time.
Yeah, but
so was Justin Haley. Justin Haley was part-time too.
So yeah, the last true winner was Montoya 07, and I didn't even. Yeah, it's been a while. So
Chase Briscoe is a heck of a talented driver in my opinion, but I also have to remember he did all this in the year after we lost the big 3.
Yeah, I was just about to say the Xfinity Series. Go ahead.
To be fair, he is older than most rookies going into Cup nowadays. He is the same age as guys like Stewart Jr., Kenseth were
when they were
right?
coming in.
I think so. Yeah.
I think he'll be 26.
So he's older than a lot of those guys were when they came in.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
That might, maybe that maturity might reflect on the track compared to the other rookies.
Who do you think will do better, Briscoe or Custer? Because personally, I'm thinking I think Custer is going to regress a lot this year.
Yeah, I think Briscoe. Yeah, if I have to choose between the two, Briscoe without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm going Briscoe too. I personally, for people I think are disappointing, I think the entire organization of SHR will, compared to what the expectations are.
Aside from Harvick.
I think even Harvick will come back.
I don't think he'll win 9 races.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to win a fourth of the races on the schedule. If Harvick wins 5 races, I think that'll be a good number. Now, when I say that disappoint and not win as many races, it does not mean I don't think he's going to not be a contender for the championship. But I wouldn't be surprised if Harvick goes through this year and gets only 3 or 4 wins. And then you look, they got a rookie coming in. They got Cole Custer, who I think we both agree probably will regress. And then Eric Almirola was not inspiring at the end of last season.
Not at all.
Like, think about this. In 2018, Eric Almirola was the 4th best driver at SHR. Now he's the 2nd, and not because he got better. I'd say he got worse.
Yeah, pretty much. Another thing to add too is, with the abundance of new Cup Series teams, who are some
really quick.
Oh,
Let's
go
get
ahead.
back to like Danny, you were saying about SHR.
All I was going to say is that with Harvick, like you said earlier, like Bowman was doing great towards the end of the playoffs. Harvick was actually kind of regressing. Obviously, he didn't make the championship 4. He had a lot of poor performances there at the end, and only won 2 times, and they were right at the beginning.
Yeah, and one of those times wasn't one of those times at Darlington when the leaders took it.
And that was kind of a more or less, he wasn't supposed to win. It just happened.
Yeah.
And then Bristol, he barely beat Kyle Busch.
Well, let's be real. If Joey Logano doesn't get in the way at Bristol, he may not win.
Yeah.
I mean, it went from him dominating, like you were saying at the start of the year in the first 23, 24 races, to he had to luck into wins and get assistance into wins like regularly, for those 2 races, I should say, and he was suffering in performance. So that's a good point.
But what I was about to say is, I was about to ask you guys, with all of the abundance of new teams coming into the Cup Series. Of the established teams that have been struggling for years, which are you the most concerned about entering this year? I'd say Roush Racing. Yeah, Roush. Yeah, I think it's unanimous. Roush Racing is probably the most
I don't even
team.
know at this point if Ryan Newman retires. I don't even know if they bother replacing that team at this point.
Yeah, like it wouldn't surprise me if they just shut down that team.
If they have the charter, they might as well keep it there just for stability's sake. But
true.
At the same time, Chris Buescher, while I think Chris Buescher's a good driver and talented, I don't think that he is talented enough to lift Roush above 20.
Yeah, and we thought he was last year, but I guess
I think he is.
He's the last talent that they have developed.
Yeah.
Because now they're not interested in developing talent anymore.
They aren't.
And then Newman is. I do not think after that crash and after just everything he went through on the track and off the track, I don't think that he is the same driver he was before. And it wasn't like he was setting the world on fire, but he still
made the playoffs in 2019 and went from that to being like 25th all of last year. So
I mean, I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope, because I want to see one of the few remaining drivers I've grown up watching do well.
Yeah, from the Winston Cup era, do good, in these days. So hopefully he does well.
And then two drivers I actually don't think are going to do too hot that people think are Matt DiBenedetto and Kyle Larson. I really don't. I don't understand with him being gone and him suffering under this 750 package why people think Kyle Larson is going to come in and just set the world on fire.
He's the dirt track god, so they think it's automatically. He's amazing.
Dirt track racing is harder than
it's hard, and it's very dangerous.
But
it's very dangerous too.
It doesn't fully equate to NASCAR racing.
Yeah, go ask JJ Yeley about that one.
Yeah.
Anyone else guys think you're going to disappoint?
I mean, you just said. Okay.
I was just gonna say, we keep saying, we think Larson will win at Dirt Bristol or something, but it might not even be him. There's lots of guys in the Cup Series that have a good dirt racing background. There's Alex Bowman, there's Chase Briscoe, there's lots of guys.
Christopher Bell. I want to see a rematch of the Chili Bowl this year, but hopefully one where Bell does not flip with 2 to go.
And also, go ahead.
Oh, well, people forget, as much as, I was saying earlier that I don't think that this team's going to set the world on fire either. Bubba Wallace is not bad on dirt either.
Yeah, he won the 2014 Eldora race, so,
has
a history.
I saw that he hopped into it was a for fun iRacing event, but they were using cup cars at the Charlotte dirt track, I think, and he strapped in and he won that one, so.
He did rage quit.
He's a lot, but he didn't rage quit this time, yeah.
Anyone else have anyone else they're picking?
I think that's about it. It's about
I think
all
we've
I can
covered
think of.
basically the entire field in some capacity.
It's
That's
just
pretty
hard.
cool.
It's just hard to really tell.
Yeah.
There's so many
early.
things. We are getting into an era of NASCAR where I feel like there's a lot of good talent out there, but the cars aren't, even either. So it just has to depend on what happens.
Well, really quick before we end off, I had alluded to this earlier, and then we can also talk about who we got on next week and stuff moving forward. We are, like I said, doing a little bit of a point system for picks, and so we'll go off this. This year we're gonna add in 2 categories for picks. So we got the Cup winner, dark horse suck picks. We're also gonna be picking
Classic.
for yes. I mean, we have them patented and everything, ready to go.
Let's go.
But we're also going to be picking the Xfinity and Truck Series winner on any given weekend that they're racing. So points wise, so we have this for the 4 hosts, the chat, and then whoever is the guest. And if there's more than one guest, we'll just pick whoever was the highest finisher out of them. So they kind of get an advantage there. But basically, top pick gets 10 points for whoever finished highest of who they said in each category, or in the winner or whatever. We'll figure that out. 10 points for them, 8 for second, 6 for third, 4 for fourth, 2 for fifth, and 6 on down, you get 1 point. Good job. Yay.
Yay.
Xfinity
You participated.
Xfinity and Trucks, same points payout for them is 6 points for the first place person, 5 for second, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The correct prediction for winner in Cup gets 5 bonus points. Correct prediction.
Like the old days.
Yes.
The good old days.
Correct Xfinity prediction gets 3 bonus points, and then truck correct winner gets 1 point. And if you sweep the weekend, you get 10 bonus points. So we'll keep track through the year, and we'll update you each week on who's doing better and everything like that, just so that you guys can talk trash to us if you're doing better. But I hope.
Oh,
I can
dude,
talk trash.
if the chat if they end up beating us in this point system, I swear, man. The chat.
I'm gonna laugh if like Darian, you end up being last if you start.
I know
talking
I'm
trash.
behind it. Yeah, I'm behind it. Well, no, I don't talk as much trash nowadays for that reason, because you never know.
Anyway,
Also, I see someone asking if this will be on Spotify. It is on Spotify.
It is.
yeah,
on
it'll be on
Spotify, yeah.
Spotify.
And very soon it will be on many other platforms besides just Spotify. Basically, anywhere you get your podcast, you'll be able to listen to us after the fact.
Unless you want to, of course, see our beautiful faces. And
I mean, I encourage you to watch
logo.
live. Of course, I think that's the most fun.
All right,
Maybe
we'll be
go-
streaming on MySpace very soon.
Maybe go back on.
And email.
And email.
Maybe go
We'll
back on
email
you-
the podcast to you guys.
Go on YouTube every now and again. Maybe watch an ad or 2 for us. You know.
He's no shame. He's like, what's the ad?
So really quick, before we end off, there weren't too many super chats, but we'll get to you guys that left some. So Stephen Gibson, we actually only have 3 right now. So Stephen Gibson for the $2 says, "Welcome back, boys. We missed y'all." Well, thank you.
Thank
We
you.
missed doing this too.
I missed you guys.
And then Goose Winnipeg for $1.99 says, "Will there be dirt track ringers? I think there could. Spin the UFO. Spinning. We need to get something to spin this
gosh.
meter. There we are.
Watch it. It's just going to plop off one of these days.
Planet's
It's gonna
magnetic
spin
pull
too
has been
fast.
thrown out of whack.
No, so it doesn't fall off. If it goes too far off the magnet, the rest of it magnetizes it towards it. So this magnetizes it up. So it just goes straight down and slams into it really loud.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
Put it closer to the mic. I just in case.
Yeah. Let's hear it spin. Let's hear it spin right now.
Let's hear it crash and burn.
All right, and then
Yeah.
last super chat of the night, at least so far. See, I'm gonna move it at one point. It's just gonna go burn.
Yeah.
Like that. People are like, what the hell was that? But last super chat of the night from Blue Jimmy 48 fan for $2 says, "Welcome back, guys. Special season incoming. We really hope so. We got some cool stuff planned out, and it's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be
I
fun.
can't wait. You're just
On
getting
that
started.
note, actually, yes, the NASCAR Weekly Podcast is going to be doing some pretty big things this year. We can't announce anything tonight, but I believe next week's show, which I know we're getting to in just a moment, on Danny B's channel, I believe. We'll talk about the guests and everything in a moment. We do have an announcement to make. We'll be making it at some point during that show. Get excited next week because the NASCAR Weekly Podcast is going to get bigger. There's going to be we're planning. We got a lot of big stuff planned for all of our channels personally, but I know collectively we're planning to do some more meetups. I got this Nashville hat on for a reason. We've got some more content coming your way. Hopefully some collaborations, some pretty exciting stuff. I know since the beginning of the NASCAR Weekly Podcast, we've always made a priority of spotlighting like great fan content. You know, we've had a lot of our friends on the show, other YouTubers on the show, content creators on the show. We obviously get drivers and, you know, the president of NASCAR on occasion, but we're going to try and go back to our roots in a way that does so in an even grander scale. So that has something to do with our announcement next week. So I just want to put that little teaser in right there. Very excited to kind of establish this show and turn it into something super legitimate that we can really do something big with this season. So on that note, with that super chat there, yeah, we have some exciting things in the works.
Yeah, thank you, JC1424 for the $5 super chat. What races y'all want to go to? Me and I assume that's Kamikaze Games going to Dakota.
Kamikaze.
Oh, going to Dakota. Well, I'm planning on trying to get out there.
I'm going to try and go out there.
So I guess starting off, half of this crew will be at the Daytona 500. Me and Eric will not.
Yeah, we'll be there. Yeah, we'll be there at least. He's going to get me from the airport.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Anyway,
but
Danny.
I'd like to be at Coda as well. So, yeah, hopefully that turns into a huge race.
We'll watch Monaco that morning, too, because Monaco will be on.
Danny, we're on your channel next week. Got anyone special we're bringing on?
Yeah, who you got on, Danny?
All right, so yes, we will be on DannyBTalks next week. You can catch us live next Wednesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central Time. As long as nothing comes up in his schedule last minute, we are supposed to be joined by Mr. Alan Cavana, formerly with Fox Sports. You, of course, know that he did a lot of work, especially covering the pits and the truck series last year. Now he's making a push for his own YouTube efforts, and we're happy to have him coming on with us. We'd like to know more about what his plans are for the future, and maybe if he can give us some insight as to what he might be able to do, or maybe what led to where he's at now.
Yeah, be good to talk to him, man. I've been watching him for years now, and it sucks that he's not with Fox Sports anymore. But at least he's coming on our show, so we can ask him questions.
Well, if we don't have anything else, I guess we can get something. I forgot something at the end of last year. Oops.
Oh yes,
it was
it's
getting
been
fixed.
a while.
It was getting fixed in the shop. So,
yeah, it was getting fixed.
Of course.
It's going to be really funny if this thing doesn't work after all this time. I tested it before the show. It should work. So I'm going to mute you guys. I got to make sure. I'm going to keep talking to make sure I mute the right person. All right. So, thank you all so much for watching. It's going to be an amazing season. We got scheduled 41 episodes more of this to do. So it's going to be fun. This is only the beginning. And I guess until next time, I will see you all next week.